we're going to give MHB permissions tonight, so he'll be able to have control and show you all of the investigative pictures and documents, maybe that that should make it an interesting show. Let me read this comment here. John should use Dear Landlord. I never heard that song. I have to look that song up. Let's see what else we got here. Dylan low key invented rap too. Listen to this. All right. Maximally Bleeding or Subterranean Homesick Blues. Those are full of bars and 6 5. Are you talking about John Dylan? Okay. Let's see. That John Dylan's first album was 1962. Hey, I bought a new mic. Are you able to hear me on this mic? Let me know if you're able to hear me here. Someone say yes. Make sure I'm using the right mic. Make sure I have my brand new mic here. And it's not even the right mic. It's not even the right mic. I don't even know how to cut the microphone on. That's interesting. Oh, we'll still give MFB a few minutes. Matter of fact, let me call him just to make sure he's still coming here. Give me 1 second. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going? How you looking? You about ready? Oh, what time is it now? Oh, you on Central Coast. Oh, okay, that's right. That's not a problem. Okay, I can keep the crowd in it. That's right. Yeah, that's okay. I can keep the crowd entertained until you jump on. So we have about 40 minutes. 40 minutes for you. That's right. No, take your time. I can hold the audience. I'm still just trying to hook up my microphone here. I can't seem to figure it out. But yeah, take your time. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. No problem. No problem. All right. All right. Yep. Hey guys, MFB is. I had a little time. Hey, Seven Seal. I meant to call you today, but we had a long stream today, and then I had to. As you can see, I'm not in my normal place, so I have to do it tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, I'll give you a call there. I'm just waiting on MFB. So if you guys want to talk through some things while we're waiting, I'm trying to hook up this new microphone. I can't seem to figure out how to do it. I think I got everything hooked up here, right, left. Yeah. Anyway, there's the camera there. Anyway, anything you guys want to discuss while we're waiting on DJ MFB here? I'll roll through the chats. HB, I randomly tuned in and it was some weirdo with a Central Euro accent. What is he talking about that? Not every night, Bob. We do it most nights. You know, we do it every night that HB is available. He's the main attraction there. So every night that he's available, we're going to try and pull it off here. Let's see. Why do I plug that into? There. I can't figure it out. Yeah, so what else we have here? Let's see. Let me look in the comments here. What's up, Richard? Great B&O song. I've never heard this Dear Landlord song. We may get a little time to to listen to the song before. Well, we probably can't play it. Looking up something quickly. A lot of good stuff in the news. How to install Let's see. I need to get a software. So, if anyone is in the audience, so I bought like was it a Rode microphone? Is it? I don't even know how you pronounce it. But you had to buy something like this to hook it up, right? If you know what this is, anyone know what this is? Like a Rode, I think it's an audio hub or something like that. You know what this is? So my question is, where do I hook up this box with this thing? So one end goes into the microphone and the other end goes into this box here, right? I'm gonna plug it in. But how does this connect to the computer? Like, I don't see anything. Like, there are two like headphone like jacks in the back. And in the front, there's another headphone like jack. Headphone like jack. Right. But where is the connection with the computer? I must be missing something. Unless this goes into the computer. That looks like a power. Maybe it goes in here. Does anyone know? So on my camera. There we go. Now the wrong camera. Let's see if this works. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. It's perfect. That's perfect. So maybe I'll have my new microphone here. And while that's setting up, I was going to do like a light fixture show one day. Kind of a light fixtures, some of the light fixtures that we've been using, experimenting. Okay, so now it says it's ready to go. Let me see. There's a Rode microphone. Okay, that's perfect. All right. That's perfect. All right, let me ask you guys a question now. I want to test microphones here. I'm on mute. Does anyone want to come up on the panel here while we're waiting on MFB? I really want to get this microphone straightened out here while we're waiting. Let's see. All right, yeah. Anyone want to come up on the panel? I know I can't figure this sound thing. I bought a brand new mic, and I probably should have spent a little bit more time. And Richard, I see what you're talking about here. The mag pull, this is like plastic, right? But you said you got the iron ones, okay? Righteous Muffin said, "There you go." What get that out of here? Microphone. I tried my best, but it didn't work for me tonight. So let me just get rid of that other microphone. All right, all right, all right. I just got rid of that other microphone here. Camera, audio, speakers. You guys should be able to hear me. Yes, right? You can hear me. Now we hear you. All right, all right. So whatever the hell this other microphone is, just a problem. Anyone want to come up on the chat? Feel free. I put the link in the panel here. Miss end of last stream. What happened? I'm not sure what happened on the last stream. Toward the end, who is BG? Yeah, I guess there were some problems with some people in the panel. Like I don't know. I don't know the backstory of the whole King Shinar thing. Don't really care to know other than what I've heard thus far. But I don't know. People saying he doxed someone. And, that's no good. That's not good. I don't know what the situation is there, but you definitely don't want someone that's doxing people. We can all agree to disagree or whatever, but we don't want anyone to get hurt by putting someone's information out in the public domain here. We're all kind of not expecting privacy, but we're at least, not expecting someone to be trying to deliberately hurt someone. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to it's one thing to have disagreements here, but we can't have people out here doxing people, things like that. It's pretty serious. So yeah, we don't want that. Give me 1 second. And I'm just going to share a few things on Twitter with you while we play around here. Yeah, I'm a little distracted here. Well, let me show you some of these light switches. In case you guys have not seen these, kind of interesting light switches. I've been experimenting with them. You guys tell me what you think about these. These are called IoT. I saw them like in Facebook Marketplace. I said it looks kind of slick, so I figured I would put some in some of my places. You have to have a smart module and all that before you can have the sensor. I mean the dimmer. So it's a couple extra $20 or so, but it's kind of a slick looking light switch. It looks different than what you normally see. So we've been trying to do things differently. So we used not a lot, but we used quite a few of these. As I say, you have to have a dimmer module. So it's another $27. So it's kind of an expensive switch. One switch or one gang is $90 plus $20. That's $100 light switch. So it is kind of expensive, but it does give it a kind of a different look. Let me know what you guys think about that in the chat. Some of the other switches we've used, I like Leviton. I think there's another brand, LeGrand or something like that. Leviton sensor switches. We've been going to a lot of sensor switches in the properties to try to. It's the one we use right here. Oops, sorry, you didn't see that. Yeah, we've been using a lot of these here to, as you can see, I just purchased one. But it saves on kind of utilities. You want to make sure that the lights are going on and off in certain places like the bathroom and the kitchen when someone enters the bathroom and kitchen. So we use these light switches. They're pretty good to make sure that the lights are staying off where they need to be off. I also have been using these. I'm not sure if you saw this tab. I'm not sure if I shared it with you. Let's see. If you saw these switches, let me know in the chat. What do you think of these switches? Is someone saying no sound? Any sound here? You guys have sound, right? Sound, yay, nay. Yay, nay, sound. All right, I'm gonna assume you have sound. Well, matter of fact, let me see. I just go to YouTube. Any sound? You guys getting any sound? Okay, good. All right, so tell me what you think about these light switches here. Tell me what you think about these light switches here. I'm not sure if you saw these light switches here. What do you think about these? These are IoT, the one gang. Well, any gang, but we bought the 1 and the 3 gang. The 3 gang, like the 3-way type switches typically. So it's like this. This is a 3 gang. Was 4 gang. It's a 3 gang. So you see these pretty interesting light switches. Give it a little different look. Let me know what you guys think about those in the chat. Those look nice. Thank you. Thank you. And then the black or the white, which one do you like better, Amy? You like the black or do you like the white here? It's the white, the black. Let's see who we have here. Angel. What's up, Angel?
I just want to say the last stream was pretty good, John.
Yeah, you have to give some of the credit to HB. He was there more than me.
Yeah,
HB held it down.
You took over obviously when you had to get ready, but it was pretty good. I came when they were talking about the whole Netflix documentary of the dude who was getting confirmed to allegedly 3,000 plus kids in his 17 years that he was doing so, and kind of was interesting in the last couple hours, but the stream altogether was a great one today.
Yeah, I think we're getting better and better as we go. Let me show you some more light switches. I know Seven Seal is in the audience. This is one of the things just giving them a little real estate advice, and anyone else to interested in home decorations, energy saving, stuff like that. Did you see the first light switches, Angel? Tell me what you think about these. That's the white one. These are just light switches, just basic light switches, but they're like touchscreen light switches. That's the black. That's the white. See that? Pretty slick, huh, Angel? Pretty slick. And so Seven Seals in the audience, someone speaking to him or anyone else kind of interested in stuff. So here's some of the sensor switches that we use. And again, all of these are programmable. You can control them from your phone. You can be anywhere in the world as long as the Wi-Fi is still intact. You can control it there. One of the other things is that we use, since we don't have central air in all of our places, and so we'll have ACs in the window. So we'll do this right here. And some of these plugs are kind of expensive relative to a regular plug. Like, look at this smart outlet here. You may not be able to see my screen. Let me show it. Let me share my screen with you. Decorative smart plugs. Wi-Fi, yeah. 1 second. Scroll down a little bit. And here are some smart plugs we've been using. We put them in places, like a lot of common places, or places where there's an appliance. You see, I purchased twice. Last purchase September 1st. So I haven't purchased a lot of these. I think I purchased some of these refurbished, so they won't show up in all my purchases. But here, these are like smart plugs. So since we don't have central AC in all the places, we'll plug the AC into the hot plug. And when the guest checks out, if no one's going there for a couple of days to turn over the room, depends, we can just cut the AC off. So and we usually AC, they're not going to change the position of the plug. So I don't even have to go there. I can just say, okay, this person's checking out 11 o'clock. I hit the plug. Don't even have to worry about any additional utilities being used. So it makes for a very good energy saving. If there's going to be a gap between the time you get to a place and the time that the person checks out, because you don't want any utilities or anything like that. If you really want to get sophisticated, they have sensor lights that can, and maybe it's not a sensor light, but it can turn the whole load on in a room and things like that. We've been thinking about that, kind of like a hotel. With a hotel, when you walk in a hotel room, all the lights come on, or the ability to come on, and then when you leave for quite a bit of time, there's like a vacancy sensor in the lights. I think that's what it's called. Let me see if anyone has ever heard of a vacancy sensor. That's what it is. Vacancy sensor. Yeah, so here's something like they have these motion type occupancy sensors here. You see something like this. Actually, you'll see it here. So this is pretty expensive, right? $100. It's pretty expensive. $151 for an occupancy sensor. I'm not sure if it does exactly what you want it to do, or what I would want it to do. But so those are some of the things we're trying to implement to kind of save a little energy and stuff like that. Someone's asking what happened, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But we definitely don't want anyone doxing anyone. That's for sure. We have Saad. I think this is a porn bomber. I don't know why you would be porn bombing here, which is also interesting. But hey, if you want to come up and show me your hand or something just to make sure you are who you are, you're probably the person. Oh, you just got the feet. Come on, get out of here. Yo, dude, I'm really curious. Why do you come up here and do this? There are 100 other streams you could do this. Why do you come here? There aren't even that many people here. Why do you why do you come here and do that? Let me remove this guy. Kick him from the studio. And he'll probably come right back. He'll probably come right back. Let's see how much time we're waiting. We have about 15. Yeah, he's coming right back. This is unbelievable. These people really are unbelievable. Master Kim, what's up, Master Kim?
Hey, John, how are you? I'm not sure if there was a lag in the podcast or whatnot, but you were showing off these electrical outlets or whatnot.
Oh
May I
yeah,
ask a question, or can I ask
yeah,
another question shortly?
yeah,
The
yeah.
question I have is, do any of your tenants do any like soft sabotage, like steal your LED light bulbs or whiz in a corner, anything that would take you days to discover the vandalism? You have anyone do like any like sneaky gangster stuff like that to any of your properties?
Nah, the thing is, since they rent rooms, it's very, very difficult to do a lot of sabotage when you're in the
Okay,
house
because the
with
other
other
tenants,
people.
yes.
I think I was telling Seven Steel, he was coming maybe when you were on the panel, or maybe he was coming afterwards. He was talking about how he rented a 3-bedroom house to a family, and I think and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but there may be some issues there. And when you're dealing with a 3-bedroom house, in any house where you're giving up the whole thing, it's very, very risky because again, they can be tearing up the entire house. And one of the things people don't think about, I've had the luxury of experiencing it, but not in an entire house, is bed bugs. If you rent an entire house to someone like a family and they get bed bugs, you have to treat the entire house. That's very expensive. It can put you out of business. It can be so expensive if you're a small landlord. But when I rent rooms,
That's crazy.
when I, and then the other thing is that people, there's such strict guidelines on how to properly treat bed bugs. When they come out to treat them, they have to come back 1 or 2 times, and you have to do so many tedious, put your clothes in a bag, this, that, the other. And so if you have poor tenants, they can't follow the rules. And so if they can't follow the rules, then you're just going to be paying your money to the Terminix people, and you're not even going to be solving the problem. So what I found is, and I know, and I've said this before, Master Kim, typically if I have a tenant get bed bugs, and I haven't had that problem in years, but I would just let them deal with it. You can move if you want to, but I'm not about to spend my money trying to solve bed bugs when the person probably isn't capable of following the instructions to make sure that the process is done properly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure does. Man, I would have never thought of that, that they could bring that to the house, but I guess you're right. It's stunning. You know,
Yeah, and the thing is, since I rent rooms, Master Kim, and the people that rent rooms oftentimes don't go in the other people's room in the home, right? So they're more or less isolated to their room. And in most of the places, I've taken away the common areas. So you really are only walking in the front door and going to your room. And so I've found, and it's anecdotal, that that's probably a pretty good hedge against bed bugs just proliferating all throughout your house. If you had a family, one brother is in the sister's room, the dad's room, the family, they're all over the place, tracking whatever they have. But if they're more or less isolated to a room, their problems and whatever tend to be isolated to the room. So it's been a godsend for me, to be honest with you, renting them by rooms. I would never ever rent an entire house to anyone. I don't care what they paid. I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, to be honest with you, Mexican. But you were
yeah,
asking
very,
about the
very
light
interesting.
switches?
Yeah, no, I was watching those. I was watching you commenting on that. And I just wanted to ask, do you ever have any of your tenants messing with your, the subtle sabotage, and you said no because, like you said, the home's
Yeah.
occupied with others as well. So, sorry, I got to think about negative, weird things like that. But yeah,
Now, I will tell you this. Just the other day, and I mentioned this to someone. I mentioned this. I think I mentioned it here. Um, Typically, I think I've told you, we typically put our TVs on the wall, primarily to keep people from knocking them over. If they're just on like a TV console, someone they come in drunk, whatever, and knock a TV over. But just recently, I had someone steal a television from me. If you if you could believe that, someone actually stole a
strange.
television. And televisions aren't that heavy these days, so they can just pick it up. And I guess if you had a really big bag, you could just take it with you. Or just walk down the street with it. But typically, as I said, we put them. And I'm trying to see if I can find pictures of the room. I may not have. I know I have pictures somewhere of the room. But yeah, so I was cleaning up a room one day, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I was cleaning up the room. I saw the TV there, and I went and did something. And I saw one of the guests come in, and then the TV was gone. And I said, "Damn, it's only $100 TV, give or take $125, whatever a TV from Walmart costs." But these people are brazen, and they'll steal anything. I think this may be a representative of the room that I had the TV in. You may be able to see it. Let's see if I can show it to you. So the room looked kind of similar. Yeah, it looks very similar. Let me share this screen with you. It's not a glamorous room, but it's not a bad room at the same time. Let me see if you can see this.
Oh, that's a tight looking room. That's nice.
It's pretty big too, so
Mhm.
it's a pretty big room. As you can see, we haven't put the TV up yet, right? So you can see every room we hang the TVs, and so we put the plug up. So I had the electrician put the plug here, so there would be no wires hanging. And before I could even get the damn TV mounted, someone stole the television. But so there are things like
Crazy.
that.
Well, John, if you don't mind me asking, what is your guest policies? Are your tenants allowed to have like one or two guests overnight, or or do you do it by case situation?
It's one of those things you really can't manage. To be honest with you, I'm not
Yeah.
there now, so I don't know who's in and who's out. But if they're booking through Airbnb or if they're booking directly, Airbnb makes them pay for it. We set the settings where if there's one or two guests, an additional guest, they have to pay for it. If there's a dog, they have to pay for it. But you can't really effectively police someone being dishonest. But if Seven Seal is here, Master Kim, you might find this interesting as
Yep.
well. I want to
I'll drop
show.
off.
No, stay here,
Oh,
stay here, Master Kim. Now I was just saying, I was hoping Seven Steel is still in the audience. I want to just show you guys some of the creative things we tried to do here. Let me see if I can. Here's one that we tried to do. So I had a guy working for me. He had a little small dog, whatever. And so, he was trying to make a little extra money on top of what I was paying him. So we did something like this. And let's see. We had to turn it off because we couldn't find anyone to provide the service. But it does work though. So something like a dog sit and stay. So a lot of times people are traveling with their dogs, their animals. Were you able to see that screen, by the way? A lot of times I'm not
oh
sure
yeah,
if you.
I thought that was pretty clever. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So a lot of times people are traveling with their dogs, and so we wanted to offer like wraparound services where you come with your dog, we'll treat your dog, you can go to the museums. We have someone on site that can watch your dog. We got a little bit of demand for it, but the person that was going to be doing the dog walking, dog daycare, he's a little flaky, so we kind of moved on from that. But here's one that has been a little bit more successful for us. Let me see if I can find this one here. I'm gonna stop sharing for 1 second. Let's take a look at this, Master Kim. You might find you might find this one interesting, Master Kim. if you haven't seen it already. Let's see if I can find it. Give me 1 second. What do you think about this, Master Kim? Let's see. Some people may have already seen this. So this is the Airbnb listing, right? What do you think about that, Master Kim? We even have a menu.
That's funny as heck. Oh my God, that is absolutely funny.
And you know, what's so crazy, Master Kim, like, people will come and they, it's the convenience and the tourism aspect of it that, it's like novelty, that it will appeal to certain people. So that part is pretty interesting. And that one has worked a little bit better than the dog walking, because you have to really have someone staffed to do that. Let me see if I can share something else with you.
What I like about it is you are not just sitting still. You're giving stuff a try and figure out what works, what doesn't work, and tweaking stuff. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. We're constantly tweaking, trying to figure out, how to best price. It's one of the things that you mentioned. The you book one person, but then two people show up. Some cases three, because let me show you a room. One of our rooms. Let's see if I can show you one. Let me pull one up and I'll show it to you. So one of the issues that we have is, you have a room, and we try to put sofas in every room. So if you have sofas and a bed, and if you have a sofa and a bed in every room, then in reality, three people can effectively stay there, right? And so
Yes.
that ends up being a problem in that you end up with three people there. So we're trying to figure out how best to price to make sure that we're not giving up too much, or having an overcrowded situation. So it's like always a work in progress, Master Ken. They
How
pull.
about any of these high dollar migrants try to get a hold of you to get a room, or is it tough to say who's a
Master Ken,
migrant, who's not?
I would say primarily I've had a few, but they were like employees of someone,
Okay.
and it was more or less the employee called us for the employees, and he was
Yes.
willing. He wanted to put three people in a room, and that has been kind of the thing that has led me to say, like, the people that here in America that are living the old style of living, it's just not sustainable when you have people calling me willing to put three people in this room right here. Three people, three men would live here easily. There's a fold out sofa, there's a bed, and one may be home while the other two are working, or vice versa. But they could easily make that work. You think that's not reasonable there, Mexican? Am I looking at it the wrong way?
Oh no, I think you're right. Have all that extra furniture in there, but then just like you communicated, there's always going to be that balance of, those are going to take advantage of it, and have more people in the room or whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah.
very interesting, very good perspective. I was in Florida earlier in the week. I stopped at a racetrack, and obviously when you see a car full of migrants or whatnot, you just, while you're filling up, you try to make sure your doors are locked, because the new hustle is, while you're filling up, they'll kind of open up your passenger side door and just take whatever you got on the seat. So, but
Yeah.
anyways, I just see these migrants and I'm thinking, man, these guys could overpower anyone. I mean, these could be some very docile, nice guy, but in numbers, they can, you know,
Yeah.
if they can bum rush you and get away with it. Plus, they're not on paper, right? So they can get away with God knows what. And these are grown,
Yeah.
grown young men.
Yeah. Yeah. That is very true. That's very, very true. So I'm not sure if you can see the screen right here. These are the
Yes.
ceiling fans that we typically put in
Oh, that's
most of our games.
nice.
It's a nice ceiling fan. Let me see if I can show you a listing with the ceiling fan in there. Let's see. I know we have some. I just don't know which. Yeah, here's one. I'm not sure if I have a picture of the fan. You may see a remnant of the fan, but you're not really gonna see the fan in this. But yeah, like in this room, yeah, you do see a little bit of it. So in most of the rooms, we have these fans here. Flush mount, sleek looking fan. Give it a little appeal. Yeah, like flush mount. So in almost every room with the ceiling fan, we have a fan similar to that. Nice, clean, modern look. That's kind of what we're going for there. Let's see if I can show you some other listings here. Take a look at this one here. I think we have it here too. I'm pretty sure we have it here, but you can't see the fan. But yeah, so those are just some of the features that we try to like use all around our properties. I'm trying to think of anything else that's unique to. I mean, I've talked to you about the beds that we use. We try to use a standardized bed, kind of low to the ground. Less rocking is better to be low to the ground. But the most important thing is the higher the bed, the more stuff gets up under the bed. It's amazing. Box of cigarettes, panties, underwear, socks. But the lower the bed, the less things that can get under the bed. So we have a pretty low profile beds in most of the listings, and no, the footboard, because oftentimes things can get stuck down in the footboard. So we just want as few cracks and things like that as possible. So let me show you what a bed would look like for us. Now, all of our beds don't look like this, but the majority are. Every time we have to replace a bed, you notice it's very low to the ground. I'm not sure if you can see that.
Is that in one of your actual rooms? I mean, that looks
Yeah,
like
this is a room.
like a cattle, like.
Yeah, this is a room. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
You
it's a
put
room.
a lot of time into this.
Oh, yeah, like if you, yeah, like there's some, not gonna say there's some, but there's a lot of thought to it. If you look at the paint, right? Like, let's see if we can get a good picture of the paint. If you look at the paint in this picture, you notice that the trim is dark and the walls are light, right? Most people have it the other way around with light walls. I mean, light trim, and maybe the wall be a little bit darker, and maybe the wall be whatever color. But typically your trim is white in your house. Would you say that's fair? In most houses, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Right. But, we wanted it to look clean, even when there's a little ding, grunge on the baseboard or trim. So we kind of flip-flop the paint. So all of our, most of our rooms have dark trim. Right. So you see dark trim almost everywhere. Dark trim, light wall, dark trim, light wall. And it's almost everywhere. Every property I show you, you're gonna see.
So that particular room right there, if you don't mind me asking, what would be the rent on that room weekly?
Weekly.
Or monthly, or do you charge weekly, monthly, or I'm sorry?
See, this one has a private bath.
Yeah.
And a private kitchen. So we've redone.
That's like a mini apartment.
Yeah, it's basically an apartment. Yeah. And so we redone the floors and everything here. So this is like $115 a night for one person. But one of the things we do is we have a 2 and under listing, and then a 3-4 person listing. So it gives us kind of a little advantage in pricing because if you're going to book this for one person, you probably really don't want to live with someone else, stay with someone else, I should say. So we can price a little bit more for one person or 2 people looking to book a space this big. And then for someone booking for 3, we can price a little bit more for them. But typically, if you're coming by yourself and you want this much space, you're probably looking to pay a premium. Let me see what else. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see if I can share another one with you. Someone says, It's nice work. Who did, man, mostly Hispanic guys, to be honest with you. I do a good bit of the painting. You probably see me on here from time to time painting. Yeah, those are LED fans. Prominence Home is the company that we use for the fans. Prominence Home. And you might like these lights, guys. I'll show you some lights, and I'll show you who we get the lights from if you're interested. So we just bought, well, I'll show you this room here. And I'll show you the look I was kind of going for. Let me just show you the room. I made that baby. So what I was going for, and I didn't totally pull it off, but I kind of got close enough. We can always refine it later. So in this picture here, you'll see like some hanging lights. Those are from Lamps Plus. So I had someone put them up in the ceiling, wire them all up, blah, 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 blah. Lamps Plus. And you'll see that. I'll let you see the rest of the room. I mean, some of you guys already seen this room here, but I did want to share with you the Lamps Plus. And so here's just a basic room here. It's a pretty decent room. Not bad. It's a decent sized room. I didn't show you the bathrooms. We do pretty decent bathrooms too. This one here, we went to a glass company out in Virginia. And I don't know if you can see that shower door. What happened here? I don't know. Let's see what. Let me show you this shower door. It's probably kind of cool. Let me see. I think this is it. And so we went out to Virginia to a glass company, and we wanted like a shower door that looked a little different than your basic shower doors. I think most people in Home Depot, I can't remember the name of that brand, but here's one. We got a custom company to make one. So we got a tinted glass shower door. This is a very heavy shower door. I mean, the shower fixtures are very heavy too, but this is a very heavy shower door. It's not cheap at all. So this is kind of the bathroom that we did here. Well, something special to give it kind of a different look. So when people are scrolling through Airbnb, it's not often you're going to see a tinted shower door and a square toilet. So it's a little different, to try to catch someone's eye there. Anyone have any questions here?
John, it seems like what you just communicated. I was going to ask the question: why are you investing so much into these properties? But then you just answered it, because you do have these displayed and staged for Airbnb, and you got to have them looking nice and modern and tight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it explains a lot.
Yeah, I led off one show talking about this, and I want you to take a look. And this is one of the reasons why we did the flip solution in painting our baseboards. Because when you're booking for someone who's like coming to a hotel or something, this just looks bad. And it's not necessarily, you can have it as clean as you want it to be, but this just looks kind of bad to me. Oh, damn.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see it. It disappeared from me. But if you can see that, if you were to scroll in on it, like no matter how clean you get this, if you don't repaint this baseboard, it's going to look dirty. And your guest is going to come in and say, The place is nice. It looks clean and all, but this looks, it just doesn't look very good. And so one of our solution to this was kind of flip flop the paints, because people are kicking and scuffing on your baseboards all day long. So that was kind of our solution to that. The other thing was, it took us a while to figure out it took me a while to figure out what kind of paint to use, like on my baseboards, probably because I was being cheap as well. But using the right paint or the better paint does help out quite a bit. So for our doors and trim, we use typically the Sherman-Williams door and trim paint. You see it says door paint here. Oops, door paint. But yeah, but I don't think this is the actual one. But yeah, it's just Sherman-Williams, more or less, door and trim. What you'll find is that it dries a lot harder. And Tyrone here, he probably can better explain than me, since Tyrone's a painter. But yeah, it dries a lot harder. So when people are kicking on the doors, banging on the doors, bumping into them with suitcases, you're not going to get as much chips in the paint the way if it was just a flat or eggshell or something like that. Tyrone says, what flooring do you use in your properties? We use more recently, we've been putting in the LVP. In the bathrooms, we use, of late, we've always used some kind of stone tile. But in most of the houses, it's hardwood floors. The original hardwood floors, we'll just refinish them. So you'll see, in this picture here. See if I can find a full view. Yeah, this is a good picture. These are just the original floors, but we always get them refinished as time permits. When there's an empty room, we'll get the floors refinished to look like this here. And so this pretty much every room will kind of look like this. You'll see that this room doesn't have our flip-flop paint, though. It doesn't have the dark trim and the lighter wall. But the floors, the bedding, everything is pretty much standard across all the properties. So it makes it very easy. Even the same size beds. We don't even put queen size beds, all full size beds, except for 1 or 2 rooms where we have twin beds. So a lot of standardization, minimal, very minimalist look. Any other questions? Gloss satin and paint. I think on the trim, was it probably semi-gloss? I can't remember which stain we put on. We got Tyrone. He could just answer the questions directly. Yeah, what's up, Tyrone?
What's going on, John?
You got some painting questions here, huh?
Oh no, I just looking at your properties, man. They hooked up pretty nice. I was wondering who did your work and all that,
Yeah, man. I do a little bit of painting. I got other guys who do a little bit of painting. If there's a lot more involved in terms of patching the walls, things like that. Particularly if it's plaster. Up here in the Northeast, we have a lot of plaster walls.
Yeah.
So that's takes a little bit more skill relative to just drywall. So yeah, I got some Hispanic guys that work for me. It's always a rotating crew. They get busy. They don't want to work for you anymore because they found more steady work. And you find another guy that works for you for a little while till he gets on his feet. But that's typically the process. Yeah.
So how often would you repaint one of your Airbnbs?
Man, to be honest with you, we paint a lot, man, a lot. Because again, anytime they're bumping into something, we just going in there and either touching up or just paint maybe the whole wall again, something like that. Because again, for an Airbnb person, they're almost expecting hotelish type on the Northeast side anyway, on the Northwest side. So we try to keep it painted fairly fresh,
So what do you use on your walls? Because preferably you should use in high traffic areas, you should try to get like a flat enamel or something like that in case you just like have to do touch up. But once you go into your satins and your semi glosses and the eggshells, you got to do like more painting.
Yeah. The eggshells and the semi-gloss, you can more or less rub them off a little bit easier than a flat, right? You can wipe them down.
Yeah. But if it comes to touching it up, you got to paint that whole wall. You just can't spot paint it.
Yeah, you can't
as
spot
opposed to using flat paint.
Is that right? So with the flat, you can kind of touch up a little bit easier, huh?
Yeah,
I think with
just
a spot, that wall up, man, to no end. You know, with a flat paint for us, I think just the carelessness, bumping their suitcases and things, you get those scuff marks so easily. You can't wipe them out on the flat paint. So yeah, you end up doing a lot more painting. Oftentimes, we're often changing the colors of the rooms probably every 6 months or so, depending. If we want to change up a room, one room I could show you. I'll just get some ideas. I'm like, I want to put recessed lights in this room, change it up a little bit. So we'll take it down, do a few things in the process. We'll paint it again. I think I showed you a full apartment that we had to get it on the market because we had some people coming. So we put down some sticky laminate flooring, but then we eventually replaced it with LVP.
Yeah, that's the route. LVP is the route. You can put that all throughout the house, bathrooms, kitchens, all over.
Yeah. We tend to go tile in the bathroom, just for that sturdy look.
Yeah, you can use. They have what they call EVP now, engineered vinyl plank. It's a little more sturdier than the LVP, and that's what they're tending to put in houses now. So you might want to try that out too. It looks like a hardwood, but it's engineered vinyl.
Yeah, it's getting better and better, what was I going to tell you? One of the things I was going to tell you because I figure Master Kim will have something to chime in here. But yeah, go ahead, Tyrone. Go ahead, Master Kim.
I've got a question for Tyrone, if that's okay. So Tyrone, what is your preference for people to ask you to quote the labor and they're going to bring the paint, or you want it all in one and you'll provide the paint? And then also, have the price of like Sherwin-Williams and Behr paints come down yet, or no, they go up and never come down?
Oh, the paints are continuously going up because they're coming out with better products. And as far as doing a job, I normally go out and give an estimate. I charge the people the labor. I let them get their own materials, so there won't be a problem in it. I'm not trying to do like a big general and put all the overhead in there for your secretary and this and that, and then it just run the price up on the customer. But I normally just charge for labor and I let them get their own materials.
Yeah, I got a shower door getting put in tomorrow. It's gonna be real slick. I just did a panel though. It's a pretty big shower. It was extended. It's typical shower, what, 6 feet? I think I got 72. 6 feet is what? That's 72. Your typical shower was 5 feet, right?
Well, 5 foot, something like that. 5 foot.
I got on the side. I think I got 84 width or whatever. So I decided to do you ever seen one of those, like a panel, a shower panel?
Oh, yes. You put the inserts. Are you talking about just the insert? Or are you talking about just putting the pan in the bottom and tiling up around the pan? I mean, we've done it all kind of ways, man.
I'm getting this put in tomorrow. Let's see. Something like this right here. I mean, there's some really nice shower doors, man. It took me 6 months to even figure out which one I wanted or longer. But there's some really nice shower doors. I know you've probably seen something like this. I think Vigo makes a lot of these. Like this.
So was that a frameless shower door you had on that one property with the tent on it?
Yeah. I think they call it frameless. So I'm getting one like this put up tomorrow. You can see this. It's pretty slick, right? You see how it's just a one panel? It's not like a glass door. It's just that one feet of glass right there. And yeah. And so you see it. You ever seen this before? This is interesting. I guess they would call it like a hospital floor, right? In that there's no curb, right? You see there's no curb in the shower?
Yeah, it's a curbless. It's called curbless.
Yeah.
Either it's curbless or It's got a drain and all that in it, but it doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
It's just slick and new modern look.
Yeah. So well, I can't do it in all of them, but like in my bathroom, I saw that. I'm like, oh, I want to do that right there. So, like in my place, I kind of experiment on things that we'll roll out to other places. Some things I may realize that this doesn't work. The water's going to get out on the floor, stuff like that for the guests. So it's I guess you would call it like agile development. If you're familiar with project management, we take an agile approach to our properties. Just we're constantly improving all the time. Different light fixtures, different everything.
Yeah, so trying to keep it modern and up to date.
Yeah,
at a reasonable price.
Yeah, at a reasonable price, that's for sure. Here's one of my favorite companies for lamps. Lamps Plus. We're still waiting on MFB, so we're just making a little small talk. Let's see, Lamps Plus. Yeah. And so some of the, they have some really nice lights here. Share this tab. Some really nice lights, depending on what you're looking for. I like the.
Man, you put expensive stuff in your places, man.
In Northwest, man, in Northwest you can get away with it because people aren't going to destroy your things. You may see some of these even in my house. You'll see me behind me. You'll see some like a light fixture similar to this. Not here, but where you typically see me. Like we have these outside at some of the places. I really got big into lights over the last couple of years.
Hey, John, do you ever wire any of these yourself, or you just?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, so you do save some money. Yep.
Yeah,
it's simple. It's just two wires and a ground wire, basically, on most of them.
The only problem is if you got, let's say you have that old, was it BX wire, and then shit starts breaking off and something like that, then I gotta call in my electrician, to keep from burning something down. But the basic stuff, if I need to run or another plug or something like that, yeah, I can definitely do that. And I know what grade of wire. Hell, we might have to go to members only. But I've learned how to take every damn breaker out the panel. So you end up learning how to be at least a rudimentary electrician. If you can take the panels out, the breakers out, you can put them back in and rewire them and everything. So I've learned some rudimentary plumbing and electrical, drywall, painting. You're gonna learn it if you want to be successful at it, for sure.
Most definitely.
Any other questions here? Any other questions? While we're waiting on
John, on your residential ones, not necessarily Airbnbs, do you invest heavy in those too, or you just try to be a little bit more pragmatic and offer them nice places, but without all the higher level, shower doors and stuff like that? Obviously, there's a difference, I would imagine.
Yeah, see, in Northwest, you kind of have to make things a little bit nicer. Just in general, it makes sense to make it a little bit nicer because you can recoup the rents and you'll get better people. In Southeast, you don't have to make it as nice. But I'll show you what it looks like in Southeast, so you have an idea. Let me see if I can show you a room in Southeast. Let me show you this room. This is actually on a major boulevard, if you know what I mean. Let's see. And I've shown you this room before, but again, it's a decent room. I'll see if I can show you the bathroom. Decent room. Let's see if the bathroom's in here. And again, these are refinished floors. You see the trim again, dark trim, light wall. Again, dark trim, light wall. Yeah, again, this is Southeast. It's a nice chandelier, right? It's a really nice chandelier. Put together, right? Again, this is a decent kitchen. These are it's a Moen faucet. There's nothing cheap in here per se.
What kind of backsplash is that? Is that just
Some
the
kind of
regular peel and stick?
no, it's not peel and stick. This is whatever the glass. I don't remember what it was.
Mosaic. Somebody did just a mosaic up there.
Yeah, but it's definitely it's just some kind of tile or stone. It's not like paper peel and stick for sure. Though. And so here's your shower. Here's the bathroom. And we redid this bathroom, so it's not a bad bathroom at all. You can see it. Yeah.
Hey, Tyrone, are things still busy where you're probably having to still turn away work, or no? You're keeping up with everyone that you quote and stuff, if you don't mind me asking.
Right now it's in between. It's kind of busy, since it just really got like kind of busy. It fluctuates where how the market is. Sometimes it get real slow for me. I can hit the road. You know what I'm saying? I can go anywhere and do whatever I got to do. That don't stop me from making money. It's always something to do.
Hey, we got MFB in the building here. You ready? You ready to go, MFB?
Yeah, can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah. Hey, did you get the invite? Did you get the invite and everything? Because for you to share your screen and everything, you're gonna have to accept that invite.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a couple videos here. I wasn't able to get some of the ones I wanted to get just because my computer is so slow. I'm moving everything, but I got a couple of good ones that I think people will find entertaining. So this first one I'm about to show you. So this one I actually was. So I was on a case. It was in South Central Los Angeles, like probably like 10:30 in the morning, and I happened to be on Instagram at the time. So I was on my phone, and I was doing like an Instagram live, and I was talking, and actually,
Damn, did we lose him? MFB, did we lose you? Somebody was lost. Was I lost? Somebody. MFB, are you there? I don't know. Is MFB lost here? Can anyone hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, John. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened to MFB. He was about to get into the story, but he's on mute. MFB, you're on mute. MFB. Anyway, what were you saying?
I can't hear you guys for some reason. I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
You may have muted. You may have cut the. You may have cut your volume off or something like that.
Back in. Hold on.
Yeah, we can hear you though. Anyway, Master Ken, what you got on the agenda for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow. Well, first I was going to pick your brain and see which finance news stream do you watch Yahoo Finance every morning. But we can talk about that tomorrow morning. Just what news source do you use? And I'm sure we can just talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, what do you use? Why are we waiting on MFB?
So I use Yahoo Finance just to check up on the S&P and stuff that I kind of watch, but I don't invest in, like anything that's natural gas. All the guys in West Texas, all of the kind of, they're called midstream companies. They're not necessarily a refinery, but they do have refinery assets and companies like that. I try to watch just to try to think that there used to be money in all them fracking companies out there in West Texas. So I just try to see where they're going and obviously see where some of the top tier, the Googles and Tesla and where all their stocks are landing and stuff like that. So, but I just try to get a little biscuit of information. But I'm just kind of curious, what do you use, and for sure, what does Get Crack for me use? As everyone's busy and on the fly, and which is a source that others use. I'd be curious to know what that is. Yep, can't hear you for some reason.
I don't really delve much into the stock market, so I watch it casually. I just think that it has been so gamed and rigged and front run and manipulated that I'm just very skeptical of the stock market these days. When I was a younger man growing up, poor people didn't have money in the stock market. Now you have people at McDonald's, Walmart workers, and
Yeah, that's awesome.
they have a little bit of money in the stock market. And I just think that, at that point, the people who, are better suited are just going to take advantage of those people. They shouldn't. If you're working at Walmart, you probably shouldn't have any money in the stock market. You'd be better off just paying all your bills.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and it would be if they truly understood what exactly they're wanting to like buy portions of, or whatever the case might be. But yeah, I mean, there's some great tools out now that just whether it be ETF or whatnot, even switching over. And I can't wait for you and Get Crack for me to do your next Bitcoin. I'm all on that because and again, not that I'm going to digest all that I hear, but at least one little nugget every time you guys do the podcast, or every time I re-listen to it, something else comes up. And what was that tech stock that even HB bought to go long? I mean, even what was the name of it? But anyway,
Oh,
HB.
You talking about Palantir or the other one?
Yes, Palantir, and what was the other one? There was two of them, Palantir and another one. God darn it! But nevertheless, I mean, if a guy like HB on the road watching where the market is every day with those stocks, I think that's pretty. But that just shows where we are today with technology and the apps, right?
HB saying Nvidia.
Nvidia, that's what it. Man, I need to write this shit down. I mean, it's obviously a name all of us know about that's just crushing it in the market. But I need to look at their. In fact, I don't want to misspeak and say I'm going to watch their chart for the last 3 years because I'm not even smart enough to know what the heck all that means. So,
I was about to say, Get Crack, did you come up with a new avatar?
I can't change my avatar now, man, because this is the only way people know it's me. But
he looks like a pissed off Jamie Dimon. But who is that? Is that?
Oh, that's Jerome Powell, man. It's an AI generated Jerome Powell, dude.
Yes,
that's the guy.
Right.
That's the guy that games the stock market, bruh. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't listen to any news, dude, because like by the time you get news, it's too late. The market already moved.
Yeah.
So that's why I only look at charts. So I look at the chart and then I say, okay, does it look like it's about to make a move? And then when it does make a move, I just follow what it did. And then if I care, I'll look at why it did it. I don't care about why. I just look at like when
Get Crack,
and
Get Crack. Please, the last 10 seconds, take it from the top and repeat it again because this is very, very insightful information.
Okay. So because by the time you get the news in the wire, right? Yes. The algorithms already got it ahead of you. They already digested it within milliseconds. And then so the move already has been made. And so what you want to do is you want to anticipate the move by saying if there's big money, they'll start doing stuff before the big move happens. So there's many examples. I should make a whole list of examples and then show you. You can tell on the chart like something's about to happen, and then it does happen. So man, yeah, it's gonna be a while, man. I think I have to break it down for you guys. There's different ways of looking at things, and three main methods I use to determine it that I've discovered work pretty well. I don't know if I want to go to options chain. Like some people use the option chain to determine things, but I don't know if that's reliable anymore. I think that's gamed out too. Yeah, there's too many people playing that. But in any case, yeah, looking at the news is
explain
worthless.
that real quick. The option chain. Can you explain
Yeah,
that real quick?
You want me to pull
I
up
don't know.
option chain?
Yeah,
You
like
talking
some
about the
people.
option chain pricing?
Yeah, so some people like they try to determine like a future move by looking at unusual patterns, right? Like, oh, there's a whole bunch of people buying a call puts at certain dates, and then they go like, what is that? Is that some guy hedging, or is that some guy anticipating? But I think that's too wishy-washy now. There's just too many people, yeah, in the options market that it kind of like confuses the matter. Yeah, like that. But for me, I'll just go back to charts and looking that way. So that's just my preference.
Hey, John, MFP is back. You want to see if his sound is good or?
MFP, are you ready?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yep.
Loud and clear.
All right, cool. Yeah, sorry about that.
Stop sharing.
All right, so for some reason when I logged back in, I didn't get the same like it doesn't allow me to like share my screen. But I guess you could just. I mean, maybe I could. I don't seem to be an admin.
Did you go to your email and accept the invite?
Yeah. Let me go to the email and do it that way again. Because I just clicked.
Well, you got to log out, accept the invite, and then come back in.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, go ahead. What are you saying? Oh, so I'll show you your option chain while he's you got to log out MFB.
Okay.
So this is like an option chain. I'm not sure how GetCrack does pricing off of it or how they would price off of it.
Yeah, people try to like set some detection where they say like, oh, if there's some unusual, like, oh, there's a bunch of volume, or there's a bunch of like, oh, like, you know what I mean? There's something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of. Yeah. But I think that's just like, I think that's just noise now. It's not reliable. The other way to do things is with the futures market. So the futures market every week they have a CFTC or something report. And then you can look at institution buyers, you can look at retail, you can look at all, and you can break it down. And some people use that to make a table and show, oh, I can tell when someone's accumulating big before a big move. And so one guy that does that really well is, what's his name? Oh, he got fined by the SEC, man. What is his name? Jake Bernstein. So that guy, yeah, he's a king in that stuff because he was a real futures commodity trader back in the pit days when they used to. I think they still do have a few people in the pit in Chicago, like trading, like yelling at each other. but for most part, that's a dead art. You don't see people going around yelling at each other anymore. It's all electronic now.
GetCrack, do you ever read Zero Hedge?
Yeah, I read Zero Hedge. Yeah,
I figured you read Zero Hedge.
Yeah, but it's like they sensationalize all the, you know what I mean? They have a slant, but the good thing about them is at least they aggregate the news, right? So if you want to look at some articles and some analysis, okay, yeah, you can use them. Yeah.
It used to be more heavily stock market stuff. Now it's a little geopolitical stuff.
Yeah, it's just really it's very heavily geopolitical now.
So, GetCrack, do you remember from that book, Michael Lewis, who wrote the book called The Flash Boys and talked about ICE was located over in New Jersey and trying to front run because they try to intercept the information quicker than anyone else. Do you remember that?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
So do you know that
I kind of do, yeah.
The company that actually owns that, and please forgive me, it's been a while, so I don't want to misspeak. So the company that owns all of that, it relocated to Atlanta. So it's stunning that a big company like that, and please forgive me, I'm missing the context.
Yeah, I know the name of the company coming,
yeah, they're located in Atlanta. Go figure.
Yeah.
I mean, just it's stunning. But what you're absolutely saying is right. That, and I hate to use that word front run, but the deal's already been front run. But what you're saying is to predict that type of behavior on a big deal.
Because
no matter where you get in, you'll be on that wave. Or at least
right.
That wave.
But the other way to do it is to wait for the move to happen and then jump in right after, and then because when you look at trends, you kind of like go, when will the trend change, or when will the base stop forming, and then it'll make its move. So a lot of times when you see stocks moving sideways, it just means it's accumulating something. Either it's accumulating to go down or it's accumulating to go up. You don't know yet, and that's kind of like how it is. Yeah, because big money has too much, and you look at the volume, they can't go through the dark pools. That's another problem. Dark pools, like how much liquidity is in the back room where you can do trades without going through the stock exchange, the main stock exchange, OTC and all that. Oh, you talking, John? You're on mute.
Are you guys ready to get started? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, man.
All right. You ready to get started, MFB? Were you able to get your permissions and everything?
Yep.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen. So, all right. So I'm gonna let you. So let me just lay the background for this. So I was working a case, and this was in Los Angeles, 2021. I was following a young guy, a Hispanic dude, lived in, I think it was right around, right between. If anyone's familiar with Los Angeles, it was kind of like, just north of Compton, basically like right in between Compton and I guess Gardenia. So I mean, it was like, pretty shady neighborhood. So this kid was he was about 22, 23 years old. He was involved in stealing cars. He was doing he had some scam where he would, like, he ran like his buddy ran like a chop shop, and this guy would be one of the people that would steal the cars, and they would take him to the chop shop, and they strip the cars down, and they sell them for parts basically, and before you know it, the car's gone. And they were running insurance scams at the same time, so people would actually, it would be a setup. Like, it would be like he would arrange with people to get their cars stolen, so so that they could collect the insurance money. So the insurance company was onto it. So they had me look into it, and I found that this guy, not only was he helping people run the scam, but he also was having people just straight up steal cars, on the side. Like, he had a whole business going, like, doing this stuff. So pretty much, and the funny thing about this video is the video I'm going to show doesn't actually involve the person who I was investigating. It involves a random person just from the ghetto, like some Spanish dude in the hood, like some gang member in the area. So I was in my car. I was in the middle of working this case, and I actually was talking on Instagram to Chaotic Truth. This was before Chaotic Truth even had his channel. This was way back in like 2021, maybe 2020 even. I knew HB and Chaotic for a long time. So anyways, I was on Instagram and I was talking to Chaotic. He was watching, like, on Instagram you can do like a Instagram live. And I just happened to be, showing him around, being like, yeah, this is what I do. This is the neighborhood I'm in. This is, like the case I'm working. So I'm just sitting there, and I'm talking to him, and I'm just going to play this video, and I'll explain it afterwards, but you'll kind of see what happens. So can you guys see this? You guys see this? All right, let me know if you can hear it too, if you guys can hear this.
Not yet. We don't hear any sound though.
Hold on, you said you didn't hear it?
No sound. I didn't hear it. Did anyone else hear it?
Okay, that's all right. All right. Let me see what it's on. Look, the sound in this. When you share your screen, it's supposed to share the audio as well, isn't it?
If you're on Chrome.
Yeah, I'm on Chrome. I don't see what it should be. Should be sharing the audio as well. I may have to. Hold on one sec. Let me see if we'll do this. All right, one sec. I'm not sure why. I can hear it fine, but for some reason.
John, you're on mute, John.
All right, let me know if you can hear it now. Hold on. You guys hear that when I played it for a second?
No, not yet.
What about that? Were you able to that?
Damn.
All right, hold on. I think I know what it is. Hold on. All right, I'll try this one more time.
We hear that, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's all right. Hold on. Yeah, let's just.
It looks like he's playing it through his phone. Huh.
No, I'm not. It's just I have. I have the multi-output device open. Hold on one second.
Sounds like Planet Rock.
John, you're on mute, John.
I'm unprepared for the shit, man. My bad. Hold on. Let me shut this thing down. Hold on.
Yeah, John.
All right, is that better? Is that better?
Yeah.
All right. Let me see. Let me know if you can hear it now. You should be able to. And they'll basically you'll work exclusively.
We got it.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So just listen. So I'm doing an Instagram live. Remember, I'm just talking to Chaotic Truth, and I think a couple other people were watching at the time. So this is what it was. And they'll basically you'll work exclusively for them, and you'll get your experience working under them and working their cases. And you won't have your own license, but you'll have, you'll be licensed to work under them. And once you have 3 years experience, then you're eligible to take the exam, get fingerprinted, get bonded through the Department of Justice and the FBI, and then you get your license. But like they're strict on you have to have 6,000 hours, which is basically 3 years worth of work. And the thing I'm wondering is, I don't know if a probation officer would count. It might. I mean, it might. I know that people have had issues with. I don't know. I don't think being a prison guard. I don't think that. Well, actually, I don't fucking know. There was somebody who. Oh shit. What? What are you doing? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? What? I wasn't recording anything. What do you? I'm on Instagram, man. Holy shit, man! I got problems, bro. Yo, I'm on Instagram, man. Get away from me. Come on, get out of my way, man. I gotta go. I have to go, man. I'm gonna run you over if you don't move. You have to move out of the way, man. What are you talking about? Jesus Christ. Fucking spit cocksucker. So you guys heard all that?
Yeah.
So I was in a bad area. So some random dude, some part of some gang or whatever, he came up and he saw me on my phone. He thought I don't know what he thought I was doing. He was obviously doing some other type of illegal activities or whatever it was. He thought I was filming him. So when you first heard the noise, he pulled up his car right beside. He tried to get in my car. He tried to pull me out. He wanted to pull me out of the car. He opened the driver's side door. He tried to, at least it was locked. So I was like, "What are you doing, man?" And he was just talking in Spanish and shit. And I was like, "Yo, get the fuck out of my way." He was trying to box me in. So I was actually armed at the time. So I had I got my gun out from from where I had it, and obviously I didn't want to like shoot someone on Instagram Live, so I just was like, fuck it, just get out of the way, man, just get out of the way. So he wouldn't get out of the way, so I just drove, and and he jumped out of the way finally. And if you heard me pulling off, he actually he hit my window as hard as he could. He punched my window as hard as he could, and it was like he was trying to break the damn window. But it was funny because this guy had absolutely nothing to do with the case that I was working. I'd been working the case for a number of probably like 3 weeks at the time, and this was just some other random dude, and I basically got burned. What they call it in the PI world, we call it getting burned when someone catches you. But I wasn't even watching this guy. This was some other random dude from the hood, and it was hilarious because I was on Instagram Live and people were watching that whole situation right there that went down. I ended up almost having to, hit someone with my car or shoot somebody on a live over that shit. So I got a kick out of that shit. That was but that's the kind of thing that happens. Those are the kind of things that situations like that, just random stuff that when you're out in the public and you're watching people all the time, you come across like just all different situations. You run into different people. Like obviously that's one of the worst situations I've ever had. Like I've never been in danger. I feel like that was probably the most danger I've ever been in, with dude trying to pull me out of my car. But when you do what I do, basically when we follow people, we follow them all day. So we start mad early in the morning, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. at their house. And we just, wherever they go, we go. Sometimes we have a GPS tracker on their car, which will make it a lot easier, but sometimes you can't do it. Are you trying to say something, John? You think you're on mute. Yeah, I can't hear you, man.
I don't know what the problem is.
Now I can hear you.
Damn. I was going to say, what do you think he was trying to get in your car for?
He was trying to pull me out, man, and I mean he definitely wanted to do some damage to me. I mean, he was trying to pull me out of the car. And he punched the window as hard as he could as I went by. I don't know why he was so upset. I mean, I think he either like thought I was filming, or like was trying to get him in trouble. I mean, I got no idea. Just some crazy dude, probably like 25-year-old dude. And he was like, but if you saw in the video, hold on, let me pull the video back up. He, the dude, the way he pulled his car up to me, he was trying to box me in.
Yeah, he basically blocked you in.
Yeah, like if you watch him when he pulls up, he intentionally kind of parks his car at an angle, so like as if trying to make it so I couldn't get out. Like hold on, let me go to the.
Do you think they were watching you?
I don't think so, because where I was right where I was when that happened, I hadn't been there really before. Like I'd been the person who I was watching was probably located maybe like 4 blocks away from there. So I really hadn't been over in that particular neighborhood right there too many times like before. Like, I think I just pulled in and it was like, I think the date and time is even on it. Hold on, let me pull the thing. It's sometime in 2021.
How far do you let these people get out of your eyesight when you're following them?
When I'm following them, usually, I mean, well, it depends. If you don't have a GPS tracker on their car and you don't know where they're going, then you don't want to let them out of your eyesight at all, because all it takes is one turn and you get stopped at that red light and they're gone. You don't never see them again. But yeah, like so.
MFB, you white, black, Spanish, Indian?
White.
So does that make it more challenging sometimes to be in certain?
I mean, most of the time I don't work cases. Like, I mean, like at least now, like I'm not in the hood too often. Like it's very rare that I would find myself. Like I don't even usually now in my career. Like this was a couple of years ago. I wouldn't even take a case that was where that case was, just because of the level of danger involved. Like I've been in this industry for long enough where I can kind of pick and choose. I would say no, I wouldn't work any cases in South Central anymore. Just because there's too much, risk. Like, you're too out of place, a white dude, all Hispanic or all black neighborhood, you stick out like a sore thumb.
So who would be doing those cases now? Like black cops?
Cases?
Like if you got to go in the hood or something, who would be doing those cases now?
I mean, people like me, like like we still can do them. It's just a matter of you got to do you got to do your best to blend in. Like we do whatever we can. Like a lot of times I would dress, like when I would go into places like that, I would dress way down. Like I'd wear like sweatpants and like a like a tank top or something to make me look kind of like I belonged in the area. Like I wouldn't go in there with like, what I normally would wear would be, khaki pants and a, collared shirt. Like that, you definitely, you got to, for every case you play a different role, depending on who it is and what you're doing, where you're going. I mean, I have all different outfits in my car, for different situations. Like I have like a golf outfit. I have an outfit to go to like a high-end bar or strip club. I have an outfit to go to like, just a regular bar. Like, just go to a restaurant. Like I have all kinds of things. It's just a matter of, no matter where you are, you got to find some way to make it look like you belong there. And it kind of, you develop it over time. I've been doing this for over 10 years now. So it's kind of second nature to me. Like, people won't even, I'll follow people. Like I just had a case that I was back in Massachusetts. I followed this guy for a total of, I think it was like 60 days. 60 days I followed this guy around, not in a row, but I'm saying over the course of a couple of months, I followed this guy for 60 separate days that I was following him. We had no GPS on his car, and he never knew. He never knew. I was in all the same places he was at. I was in the same buildings, same restaurants, same bars, and he never made the connection that it was the same person in the same vehicle, in all the same places that he was at. And I was on this case for, like I said, it was 60 individual days that I had to be in this guy's neighborhood, following him in the car, no GPS.
And what were you chasing him for?
This guy was this was an insurance fraud case. This guy he'd faked an injury. So basically he claimed that he had fallen down and he said he claimed that the floor gave out underneath, like, the floor basically like underneath him at a construction site gave out and he fell a whole story and landed right on his back. It was complete bullshit, and I pretty much proved it. because the guy wasn't injured one bit. And I did the accident scene investigation, and it didn't make sense. None of it made sense. There was no witnesses, nothing like that. But here, let me just get back to this video real quick. So you see when this guy pulls up, I think it's like, let me see. Okay, you see his car coming right here. So he pulled up. He was trying to block me in.
Hell yeah.
So, and there was just enough room for me to get through, like right here. So right here, and I was in the middle of talking about, PI licensing and shit. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh shit. 'Cause you see someone do that, you're like, all right, this dude trying to block me in. So he got out of his car. He came over to me, and the first thing he did was he didn't knock on the window. He went right for the door handle. Tried to open the door. That's why one of the first rules of this shit is you always keep your doors locked, because you never know what people. And this may have saved my life that day. Was keeping the doors locked. But
you think that guy was armed?
I'm not sure if he was armed with a pistol. I didn't see a weapon or anything like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he had something in the car. Oh, you know what? I have another video of a guy recently who, and this was a very similar situation. So I had another case recently. This was in Massachusetts, like on the South Shore. And it was kind of the same thing. I was working a case, following someone it was an insurance fraud case, and some other guy in the neighborhood who I wasn't even aware of him. This guy had cameras all around his house. He was like one of those paranoid type dudes. He was a black dude. But he had all this electronics, all over his house, all cameras, everything, and he would monitor them 24/7. So he saw my car when I came into the neighborhood, and he didn't recognize it. So he was down the street. I guess I had pulled up in front of his house for a few seconds because I was trying to get the license plates of a couple of vehicles down the street, and he saw my car. So whatever this guy, I don't know, this guy had mental issues or whatever. He was some sort of like paranoid schizophrenic or something, but he got in his mind that I was after him. Like, he saw that I had tinted windows in my car. So I go to my spot where I'm setting up to do surveillance on this other guy, and out of nowhere, this other car comes driving right in my direction, as if it's gonna crash like head on into me. And so he pulls up, he stops like 2 inches from my car, to the point where I even had to back up. And I was like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? It was a very similar situation to this. So the guy gets out of his car, and he puts his hand inside of his jacket, trying to show, like, pretend like, or maybe he did have a gun, I don't know, but he was trying to show me that he had a gun. And he started yelling at me, saying, get out of the car, all this shit. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So again, it was very similar to this situation. I had to I had to go around him and almost damn near run the guy over with my car. I actually have some of the video from the aftermath of that, because I started filming, because I wanted it for, just in case something went down, I wanted it documented, that the dude was after me. So when I left, the dude started following me in his car. So he followed me for a while, and we came up to a light, and he pulled up beside me, and he rolled down his window, and he yelled, he was like, if I ever see you in my neighborhood, you're dead, or I'm gonna finish you, or something. Like, he straight up just made a death threat, all because he was convinced that I was after him. Let me see if I actually have that video. I'd like to show that video.
What kind of business? Was he a drug dealer or something?
This dude, from what I could tell, because I talked to the local police after this incident, because I let them know. I actually sent them the video. I was like, you guys, you should know, because you got someone in your area that's, mentally disturbed, going to do some damage to somebody. And they said, I talked to them afterwards, and they said they visited him, and that he from what they could tell, he wasn't armed, but they told him, you can't be doing that. I didn't press charges against him or anything like that, but the dude, from what the police told me, they said he just was like a weird dude. They were aware of him. They'd had like 911 calls from his house for not domestic stuff, but like 911 calls for I think suicide, like things like that. He was just a weird dude. He was paranoid. He just was like a paranoid dude. He had these cameras around, and and he would sit there and monitor them all day and just watch who was coming around and basically convinced that someone was trying to do something to him or to his family or whatever it was. But I totally forgot about that situation. This situation, the one I just showed you, and the one I'm talking about now, are the only two times someone's ever confronted me like that. Most of the time, 99% of the time, people will never even know that I was watching them until they see me in court. If the case goes to court, they'll see me testify.
And they'll remember you. They say, "Oh,
a lot of times, I mean, I don't get to obviously talk to them or anything, but I'll testify and I'll say, yeah, this is what I witnessed. Like recently, I had a case where I had to go into court. It was people. We get all types of cases like some of them are kind of boring. Like this one was like it was a non-compete. Someone had a non-compete agreement with another company, and this guy was not supposed to be operating a gym within 5 miles of the gym he used to work at, but he did. He started operating a gym like a mile away, so I documented it, got on video, and then we actually went to trial, and I had to testify again, and actually testify. But most of the time, when you go to court, you get called to court. Usually when they see you show up, they see the investigator show up at court. Usually the person's lawyer will tell them to either to plead out or make some sort of deal, because they know that once the investigator is there and it's going to testify against their client, that they're pretty much done. That they have they know that you probably have surveillance video gonna pretty much negate everything that they're gonna say. So most of the time, you get to court, you're ready to testify, and then a deal they make a deal, and then the dude pleads out, to a lesser charge or whatever it is, or if it's a civil suit, they'll make some type of agreement. Very rarely will I actually have to go up and testify, because people know, they know that if you have a PI who's about to come up and testify, then that's not good for your client. I had one case. I think I showed you a little bit. I'll show you a little bit more of it. There was a guy, he played for the Washington Capitals. He was a hockey player. He I think it's the Washington Capitals. I don't follow hockey really anymore, but he was a professional hockey player. He played for the DC, whatever their team is, if it's the Capitals or whatever. And he was claiming that he had, through his years being a professional hockey player, he had CTE really bad. Like he had multiple concussions, and he was unable to care for himself, and that he was they call it legally permanently disabled. So to the point where he was never going to be able to work again, was never going to be able to do anything again. He wasn't able to care for himself, all this stuff. So I found this guy. He was living in San Diego, across the street from the beach, in a multi-million-dollar home. He had 2 Teslas, and the dude was surfing every morning. Every morning at 6 a.m, he would go out and walk across the street, and he'd go surfing for 2 hours. And he was living it up. He had a beautiful wife, kids and everything. He was taking that team for over $1 million a year in payments. They were saying that they owed him for his, the rest of his life, because he was disabled, because of, but it was all a complete scam. So they called me to testify against this guy. So I flew all the way to DC. I showed up in court, and the dude's lawyer saw me and immediately pled the guy out, or he dropped it, or whatever. I forget what the situation was. I think the guy dropped his claim against the team, because he knew that his client was going to get caught in perjury, because his client had already said all these things under oath about how he can't care for himself. I was going to show a video of the guy surfing.
Oh shit!
Driving his Tesla, and with his wife, in his home. Like I had documented all of it. He was, it's just a perfect example of someone who was just taking advantage of the system, of the legal system, being able to sue people, being able to file claims and stuff. People can live their whole lives without working, just by defrauding people. You know, like someone might get a job somewhere on the first day, their very first day, or like their first week. They'll fake an injury and they'll say, "Oh, no one saw me, but I was over there and I tripped, and now my back hurts." And then they'll go to a doctor, like a doctor who's in on it. They already know beforehand. They have the whole thing planned. They go to a doctor who's like they pay like a fee or whatever, and the doctor will say whatever they want. So yeah, this guy's back is injured, blah blah blah, and next thing you know, the company now has to pay out through their workers' comp insurance a full salary for this person who only worked for them for a couple of days, and so they just they make a living out of it. That way they don't have to work. They literally don't have to work.
Let me ask you this question. So while someone comes on the job, he files a claim, and presumably he's off work, right? He can't go back to work while he has a claim pending. Yeah. And are they paying him immediately, or does he have to wait for the payments to start, or what?
I think they start. I mean, they start pretty soon because I know that all the people I watch in these cases, they're very anxious to get their mail. Like if it's around the first of the month or whatever, you see them outside waiting, looking for the mailman to come through. But it's funny you mentioned that because a lot of times, especially I found this a lot in the Southern California area. I had a lot of Mexican people I follow around. I'd say 90% of the people I followed around were Mexicans. They would do the same thing, but what they would do is they would get a second job under the table, so they'd be working somewhere else, while they're trying to collect this, workers' comp. Which is a big, that's a big violation. You can't do that. That's why a lot of these people end up, getting prosecuted. So we would catch these people all the time. Like, someone would get hurt at a construction job or supposedly, or, and the next thing you know, I'd catch them working at a restaurant doing all types of stuff, and just they were getting paid under the table, to beat the system, just make it's a big industry. A lot of these claims, they say that like 30% of them are bullshit. About 30% of all of these claims are bullshit.
So someone can get hurt on the first day of the job, and how long does this process play out before they actually, you don't have to pay them anymore? The company doesn't have to pay them anymore.
Well, the companies have what you call workers' comp insurance. So their insurance company has to pay them. So like, they have different companies that will have, sometimes people will get like, there's insurance companies that will cover small businesses, or it could be a bigger business. It'll usually be a bigger insurance company, but it's the insurance company who we deal with. They're the ones who contact us, want us to work the case, because they get, every day they get a case. If there's a certain number of red flags, let's say they like one red flag could be that the person got hurt very soon after they started working. Let's say they got hurt within the first 2 weeks that they started working. That's one red flag. Then if they get a second red flag, like there was rumors of the person working somewhere else, or there was something else shady going on, then it would be, that's 2 red flags. So then they have authorization in their company to hire an investigator to go look at it, because they know that most likely they're getting took.
Hi, John. How was your day today?
It's great. It's great. Thank you, Noah. Let's let MFB finish here. He's giving us some private investigation stuff.
But yeah, I mean, these people who know how to work the system, a lot of these people, it's not their first time. They've been doing this for years. Sometimes, they go from job to job, and they'll fake an injury. They'll collect money for as long as they can. Usually it ends like at some point. Let's say that they get an investigator on them. A lot of times the companies won't or the district attorney won't press criminal charges against them. The company will just say, "We want you to drop your claim right now." Like I want you to basically, even though like they should be, saying, you got to pay it back. But a lot of these companies, they just want the person out of their lives. They just don't want the person collecting any more money. They just say, drop your case right now, or we're gonna show evidence, and we're gonna bury you in court. Stuff like that.
MFB, you have questions up here. Someone is wondering, what is the demographic makeup of these people committed insurance fraud here?
It varied depending on where I was at, but when I was in Los Angeles, I'd say it was at least 75, maybe even more than that, Mexican. Almost most of the people, like if I go through my list, like I'm gonna go through a list of the last names of people who cases I've worked, so you can get kind of a good idea. Here, let me see here. So this was from when I was living in Southern California. This was between 2017 and 2021. So you'll be able to tell just from these last names what I mean when I say that, because these are almost all people that are just either they just crossed the border, or they're just living there. So okay, so I have let's see. Okay, so I have Araceli Arellano Mendoza, Rebecca Ballesteros, Brian Blair, Blanca Perez. We also have Yamin Burgess, Luis Cardenas, Elixion Carrias, Carlos Lopez, Carlos Torres, Manuel Carrillo, David Casillas, Guadalupe Catalan, and you get the idea. This is
how easy are these people to catch typically?
You'd be surprised. It's pretty easy. Most of the time, these people don't pay attention to their surroundings. Yeah, King Shenard, I am a professional snitch. I'd catch your ass. You'd probably be doing this type of shit. You bum. I mean, some of these people, you get someone sometimes that's hip to the, like they know what's going on. They'll be very aware of their surroundings. So you got to be very careful when you're following them. But most of the time, these people are they're just focused on other stuff. No one thinks that someone's following them. If you think about when you go out in your car for the day, I mean, most people, don't have a reason to think that anyone would follow them. Some of these people don't know that that these companies are doing surveillance on them. I mean, they should know. Believe me, if I was to pull on one of these scams, I would stay in the house. I would not go out. I wouldn't do anything where anyone could see me, because we can use anything. Like even going to the grocery store. Go to the grocery store, you bend over to pick up like a 12-pack or whatever. You say you claim you have a back injury. That hurts your case right there. So, if I were them, I would never be going out in public doing any of this stuff. But meanwhile, you got these people not only doing that stuff, but we got them going to the gym, working other jobs, working construction, doing all this hard labor. I mean, the absolute last things that you should be doing if you're on workers' comp.
Is there any way to get away from you? What would make it hard for you to track someone?
I mean, it's if someone shows me, if I get signs, like if I'm following someone, like I can tell by their behavior, just by the way that they drive, if they're suspicious. If I feel like that they're suspicious of me, I break off. Like I don't push it. Like if I don't want to get it to the point where they know that I was following them. All I want, like, is maybe at the most them to be suspicious that someone was following them. And if I get the feeling, I after all these years of doing it, I get a feeling sometimes I can just tell that this person is watching me. Like, I just have a feeling, like the way that they're driving, the turns they're making don't make sense. Sometimes they'll make two left turns in a row. They'll make a U-turn. I'm like, all right, that doesn't make sense. So I'll let them go. And a lot of times what I'll do is whoever I have, like, is, if it's another investigator who gave me the case, or if it's the insurance company directly, sometimes we'll switch investigators mid-case. So I'll follow the person to a certain location, I'll call, and I'll tell them where the person is, and they'll come in their vehicle, pick the guy up, follow him for the rest of the day. Or I'll go back the next day, but I'll rent a car. I do that a lot. I'll rent a car.
And what are we talking about?
Just insurance fraud and private investigator stuff.
So that's a lot of effort. You have to go get another car and all that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's all that the client pays for all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I bill everything. The client pay, if I have to pay for anything out of pocket, I mean, I charge, you know, there's nothing that I'm not paying a dime for anything. You know,
So you see the guy going to a high-end restaurant. You get to go
oh
to
yeah. If someone needs to, if I need to go into a restaurant to get video of someone, I can order a meal and bill it to the client because they understand that I had to do it in the course of the investigation. The contract I signed with them beforehand says that.
And excuse me, where do you work? What's that guy talking about?
Where do you work, Mike? You work all over, right?
I have my own company. I work for myself.
He works pretty much anywhere he wants to work.
Yeah, wherever I want to do it.
That's a good question, though.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, like if I have to go into an event or I have to go to, you know, a bar or whatever, I can get a tab. I mean, I just don't go crazy with it. But like, or if I have to stay in a hotel, like, you know, if it's someone I'm following staying in a hotel, I'll get a room in the same hotel, and wherever they're staying, I'll stay there too. I'll just write that off, and the client will pay for that bill when it comes time. You know, it's all agreed upon beforehand. Like, you know, that they understand that they're going to be any expenses that come up with the investigation, they're going to have to pay for it, you know. I mean, and to them though, it's worth it because they're losing lots of money. These insurance companies, you know, they're getting scammed. You know, they have to pay someone a full salary. Just paying me for, you know, a week or two is well worth it for them. You know, I've saved insurance companies millions of dollars.
Like, what's the most you've had to spend to enter a place to follow it?
Let's see. I think I had to spend one time. I had to go into a really high-end gym. It was called, I don't know if you're familiar with it. There's a chain called Equinox.
Oh yeah.
It's a really
yeah, I know that one.
So you got to pay, like, I think I paid $160 just for one day to work out at this gym, something like that. It's one of those places where you can't get, like, you have to sign up for like at least like a 6-month membership or like a 2-month membership or something. You can't, so like you get a day pass. But I've had lots of things where I've had to stay in hotels. I just still stayed at a high-end hotel. I think it was like $300 or $400 a night. I mean, shit, there's a lot of things. Like, there's been times where I've had to, you know, rent vehicles to do surveillance. Like, sometimes if the person's really suspicious, I'll get a rental car and I'll park it in front of their house, and I'll set up a camera inside the car and point it in their front yard. Like, if they're really suspicious to the point I can't even be around, I'll leave a vehicle unmanned with a remote camera that I can control from my phone or from my computer at home, and I'll just park it there all day. And if the person's doing work on their home, let's say I get a tip that they're doing construction on their home, I can get all the video all day, and they'll have no idea. Like, sometimes it's a vehicle, sometimes I'll put it in a like, I have this fake electrical box that you can put on a like on a telephone pole that you never know, but it looks like it's like one of those electrical boxes, but it's a full high definition camera. And some of the cameras I use for this stuff.
Hey, do those cameras have to be on Wi-Fi, like a network or something?
They have a lot of them have their own Wi-Fi signal. Like, let me show you this video here. I'm gonna show this case. I was gonna show this video anyways, but this is a good example of a time I use a really covert camera. So this guy right here, this was in Inglewood, California. This was in, I think, 2019, something like that. So this guy was claiming also that he was severely injured, and I saw him, or like when I first saw him during the day, he was walking. Well, you'll see. I'll show you, and then I'll show you the difference between these. How this guy was walking at the beginning of the day and how he was walking at the end of the day.
While you're pulling that up, I had a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who's hiring you typically? Is it insurance companies, individuals?
Yeah, usually the insurance companies will hire me. a lot of time, I mean, depending on what type of case it is, if it's a family situation, like if it's a cheating spouse or whatever, then it will just be, you know, whoever is the, you know, the person. Like sometimes it will be the lawyer of the person if they're already involved in a divorce. But the last one I was telling John about, where I was followed this guy who left his wife for another man. His wife just
Oh Lord.
married me. Yeah. And and that was just a couple of days ago. That was up in Starkville, Mississippi. And sure enough, I found him. These two dudes, and just like, you know, all I saw him was like, you know, I was able to prove that they were living together because they would come in and leave in the morning together, you know, just, you know, looking real flaming. I could even show you some of that video to see how flaming you want to see that video, John?
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see
guys,
let's see these flaming.
You see these
black homosexual look.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
I had another quick question. Have you ever
go ahead.
Have you ever dressed up as like a construction worker or a cable guy or something?
Yeah. I have in my car. I have a vest. I have one of those vests the construction workers wear, like like a like a like a fluorescent, like it's like orange, and I have a hard hat, like one of those hard hats you wear to go on the site. Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff. I got
that must be pretty effective right there.
Do you have like stickers that you like put on your vehicle to like put Verizon?
Yeah, no, I actually have a sign that I can put. It's a magnet that will go on the side of my vehicle.
Yeah, magnet. Yeah.
It says town. It says something like town assessor's office, and I tell them that I'm doing a survey, basically measuring the street or doing something something that people won't question, you know, like people just like,
and that's when you go on the pole and put the camera.
Yeah, exactly. So
really?
I play
you get up on a pole and put the camera like on a light pole?
I don't climb up. I mean, like, but I'll put on like. Hold on, let me show you this video real quick. You know, this is an example this is a perfect example of a time where I had to go onto a construction type area, and I had
pigeon
Hey, you guys get the lights up. You guys get the lights up. This is amazing. Get the lights up. This is amazing.
Let me share my screen here. All right, so this just to give you a little background. This guy was an insurance fraud case claiming severe injuries to his back. Let's see. See this guy right here with the cane?
Oh, does he really need that cane? Or is he faking?
Well, that's what I'm going to show you. But I zoomed in on the cane to show that, you know, he's pretending like he needs a cane. Look at this guy.
And you're like right in front of him filming this?
I'm in my car.
Okay.
Well, I got my windows tinted. So, you know, he goes over. Yeah, this is in Englewood, California. But he's acting as if he's like, you know, he can barely walk. But fast forward, now I'm going to fast forward to later in the day, about 6 hours later. Get this.
Dang, he was doing a pretty good job acting.
Yeah, you would think he was really injured.
His foot looked like it was going the other way. I wonder if he put his left shoe on his right foot and his right foot on his left. So that shit was good.
I've seen people come out of wheelchairs before. Like literally, I've seen people. I'm not even joking. I've seen people leave the doctor's office in a wheelchair, and the next thing you know, they're running and they're doing something. Like these people have
the Holy Spirit touching them.
They don't even care, man. They'll go and just lie all day. You know, everything is just you know, there's just no problem lying. All right, so remember what I showed you before, right? The guy, you know, he was limping. He seemed to be in pain. This is the guy a couple hours later, and I had to wear a construction vest to get this video. All right, let me share my screen here.
Why'd you have to wear a construction vest?
Because the guy was at a truck driving school. He was learning to drive a truck. You know, it's like a trucker school or whatever. HB probably knows that. You know, in order to get your trucker's license, you have to learn how to drive the truck. The guy was going to school on the side, learning to drive to get a CDL or whatever. And in order to walk on there, everyone was wearing like that type of thing, so I had to do it. Let me show you. Now here's the guy here. See the guy in the hat right there? This guy right there with the thing in his hand, with the notepad in his hand.
Yeah,
it's the same guy. A couple hours later, no cane.
Wait a minute, this is the guy with the cane?
Yep. And I had no reason to be on this place. I just put on a construction vest so I could match with these guys. But look at this guy. He's bending all over. He's doing the checks. You know, this is, I guess, what they do before they go out on a.
So this is a second job you got?
Yeah, this guy had it's not a job. He's learned. He's at a class. You know, he's
that's right. He's training. Right.
But he's completely fine. You can see. Look at him. He's got no problem with his back. You know, earlier you saw him. He's getting up under the car. And in order to get this video, though, I had to wear a vest like that guy was wearing. I had no business being on that property, but they didn't say anything to me because I looked like I belonged there. If I rewind this, you see at the very beginning that I get a look from this guy right here. You're going to see him look over at me right here. See, he's looking right at me, but he didn't think twice about it because I was wearing the right stuff. So he just went about on.
Now, what are you recording with?
So the camera I'm using to record with is literally a keychain. It's a key fob. You know the kind of what you use to unlock your car, like you press the button. This thing that I have, it's literally it's a replica of a keychain, and but the buttons it's a 4K camera, and it's got Wi-Fi built into it, so I can hit the button and I can view the footage on my phone, so I can hold the thing in my hand and then look on my phone and I'll see exactly where it's pointed at, what it's recording, and I can press the record button on my phone, zoom in, zoom out, like do all that stuff, and it saves it to a little tiny disk that's inside there, or a little memory card or whatever, and you'd never know in a million years. It looks exactly like it's exactly the same thing as a keychain. It just.
Can you show it to us?
Yeah. Here, I'll pull it up. I'll show you exactly.
How much was that device?
The one I have, I got a pretty high one. It's about $350.
Oh, we can't hear you, Mike.
Oh, you said 350. All right.
Yeah, $350 it was. I'll show you exactly the model that I use, though. Hold on a second.
And what store do you buy these things? You buy it online, or is there like a surveillance store?
I'm going to share my screen. You'll see it's a company called Lawmate. They make really high quality, like any type of hidden camera you want. This place makes like the top quality stuff. It'll never fail you. You know.
You said Lawmate.
Cheap knockoffs that will, Yeah, it's called Lawmate. I'm going to show it to you right now.
And MFB. Before you end the stream, can you definitely tell us if for anyone who's interested in getting in this line of work, what they need to do?
Yeah, I can tell you what you need to do. Can you guys see the screen?
It's coming.
Yeah, it's loading.
It's loading.
Oh, okay. You guys see that there?
Damn, it's like a regular key fob.
Yeah. See, so and if you look, here's another key. Here's another picture. It comes in this little case here, and this little piece right here comes off. So if you look on the side here, this is where you put in, you charge it right there with USB cable, and this is where the memory card goes. And it's tiny. I mean, look at it. It's literally like you pick it up, you wouldn't even. It's the same exact weight. It's the same weight.
And where's the camera?
The camera is. Let's see. There's a picture of it. So the camera's there. So there's a tiny little hole right here at the end of it. And you point it. You can point it right at what you want to film. And like I told you, see this button right down here. This bottom button. That's how you activate the Wi-Fi. Once you do that, you can go on your phone, and if you go to your, if you try to join a Wi-Fi network, a network will pop up with the name of your device, and you just join it. And then there's an app that you can use on your phone where you can view, it's a live feed, so you can view it. You can use it without Wi-Fi too. Like if you just press this button right here, this will just start recording. I always like to use the Wi-Fi so you can see exactly what you get the best angle and everything. But the best part about it is when if you're following someone on foot and you're constantly looking down at your phone and you're not looking at them, they have no idea that you're watching them, but you can be watching the whole time. Like a lot of times I'll stand with my back facing the person, like so, and I'll have the camera pointed behind me in my hand behind me, and all they see is my back, and I'm looking at my phone, so they got no idea that I'm looking at them, but I'm watching them the whole time through the view, through the camera. Like I can see them the whole time.
Show us another pretty slick
camera
surveillance device. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick on. Have you ever? Is there some type of device that would tempt someone to like take it home with them?
What do you mean?
Or like let's say like a dollar bill. Obviously that's not gonna have a camera on it, but like something that would tempt someone, like a $20 bill, they take it home and you could like record them in a more of a private setting.
That would be extremely illegal. Like
okay.
Yeah, that's you can't violate someone's privacy like that. Like people have a reasonable expectation of privacy in their home. I can't film through someone's window, or like if I can see them through their window at their house, I can't film and use that evidence. They got to be somewhere where like it would be reasonable for someone else to just see them. Like if they're outside their house, for example, they have no expectation of privacy because they're in public. Anyone on the street driving down the street could see them, so they don't have that expectation. But for example, if they had a fence around their yard, a high fence, I couldn't then like climb a tree and then film down over the fence, because the fence shows that they have a reasonable expectation of privacy. They put the fence up for a reason. So I mean, the laws are particular when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, so like if they were stupid enough to take this thing home, you just wouldn't. You're not supposed to activate it or use that for evidence. Yeah.
I could get the information. Like if the person who hired me just wanted information and they didn't want to use the evidence in court, I could do it. But I mean, if the person ever found out, they could file.
Yeah, you're still against you. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Go show you. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. Hey, just out of curiosity.
Hey, hold on, Master Kim. I'll be right back, guys. Hold it down for me. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Mike, under the current political environment, how do you get one of them fat ass juicy Oppo research contracts, and develop like the Still dossier or one of those bad boys? How do you get involved in one of those big old things that are paid by one of those action committees and whatnot?
I mean, I've never. I mean, the only case that I ever did that was even close to that was there was a case one time, this when I was in California, where I followed the candidate who was running for president of Mexico. He came over to America. I don't even know why they wanted me to follow him, but I followed this guy from the airport to his hotel, and he was in the hotel bar, and I documented who he talked to. But like, a lot of that stuff you're talking about, a lot of it is done by PIs who are, more, they're not really, they don't really care about the rules. So they're willing to, break the rules and do like, shit that's illegal, like wiretapping and stuff like that. or maybe just a very high end PI, like the most well known PIs. Maybe they'll hire them. Big firms. There's big, huge PI corporations that are nationwide. But usually for a job like that, there was a PI recently who got caught. He was doing surveillance on a judge in Arizona, and he put a GPS on her car, and she found it, and he got caught. And last I heard, he was being prosecuted because you can't put a GPS tracker on someone's car without legal reason. Like, either the only way you can do it is, like, let's say if a couple owns a car, let's say it's in both their names, one of the people can authorize you to put it on because they own the vehicle. You can't just put it on some person's car that for no reason. That's a crime.
Yeah, Mike, earlier when you showed the video of you at the gas station and that Mexican guy start raging on you, does it help or hurt you that you could be easily confused as being part of the sheriff department? Does it help you at times or hurt you most of the time?
I mean, it depends. Again, it depends on the case. Like on that particular one, I was driving a Toyota Camry just with darked out windows, so I didn't really look like. I mean, law enforcement don't really. I mean, you don't want to look like law enforcement if you can help it. Like if you're doing surveillance, especially, you don't want to be mistaken for police. Like you never want. Last thing you want is like to have someone say, "Oh, I thought this guy was a police," and get accused of impersonating a police officer or something like that. Like some PIs will do that, in order to get information. If we do interviews with people about cases, sometimes someone will try to use that, like they'll show a PI badge or something like that and try to say that, try to get the person to talk to them. But you can't misrepresent yourself. You can't say, you can't tell the person you work for their lawyer and then you actually work for the other side. It's pretty strict on what you can do. You got to be, ethical with your investigation if you want to keep your license.
So let me ask you a follow up on that. This is Q. As far as like, obviously there's rules, laws, like, hey, you can't put a tracker. Like, where's the gray area? I guess does this come down to each individual investigator, like with the gray area, or like what they're willing to push?
It comes down to the state laws. Some states don't have a particular statute that talks about GPS trackers. So, like, depending on where you are, there may be a specific law. Like in the state of California, for example, there's a law that specifically says you cannot put a GPS on a car without the authorization of one of the owners or the people on the title. Now, I'm in Mississippi now. There's nothing here there's no law that says specifically that you can't do it. So it's kind of a gray area. So around here, you could probably get away with doing it as long as you had somewhat, reason to do it. Like if it was you're doing investigation or whatever. It just you don't want to be that first person that gets prosecuted, and they because there's no case law on it, so there's no precedent. Like they don't have a history of charging people with that. Like so, it depends on the jurisdiction you're in, really. And again, it comes down to the PI that's working the case. Like, what are they willing to do? There's a lot of PIs that will have no problem tapping someone's phone illegally, putting a tracker on them, doing all kinds of stuff. Like, but those
Whoa,
PIs.
Whoa! You know how to tap a phone?
I personally don't know how, but there are PIs that know how to do it. They can tap a cell phone.
MFB is holding out. That's why you paused there.
That's
cool. I won't press you.
Yeah, no, that's like the only people you'd be able to find that really would do that would be ex law enforcement who know how to do that kind of thing, who did it in their career, like ex FBI guys. Like they know how to, they can tap a cell phone just with like a little machine. They can just nowadays it's supposedly not even that difficult to do, but there in my line of work there would be no legal reason why I'd ever need to tap someone's phone. Like I don't do anything that would give me justification. I mean, literally, like unless you're law enforcement and you have a subpoena or a judge gives you authority. You can't just tap someone's phone. You need to have probable cause, and you need to be a member of law enforcement. I'm not a member of law enforcement. I'm a PI.
So this is cute again. Let me ask one quick question. I'll let someone else go. This one's from Beak in the chat. I think this is interesting. Yeah, like how would is it just your risk? Like, let's just say you just want you want to make it easier on yourself, so you track their car and then you take it off, but you don't use it as evidence. Would you think about doing something like that?
No, because you put yourself at risk of losing your license if you got caught. To me,
great question.
To me, it's not worth it for one case to get evidence. Like, I don't need to get evidence so badly that I'm willing to risk my livelihood, to risk losing my. There are PIs that do it. I know PIs that will talk to me all the time and say, "Oh yeah, I had a GPS on this car. I have 6 active cases with GPSs all on the cars." I mean, they're willing to go to any lengths to get the information. And hey, that's them. They want to do that. But if they get caught, they're gonna get their license taken away, and they won't be able to do their career anymore. So to me, it's like no client is worth that. Like, I can always get a new client who give me a new case. I'm not gonna risk everything just to get just one person evidence that they want. And I honestly, I don't need, like, I'm good enough at following people. I don't really even need to use a GPS. I've been doing this for years. I can follow people. Yeah, I followed someone from Orange County to San Francisco, 8 hours in the car one time. They had no idea. I followed them all the way there.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, what do you do when, in fact, you take a case for your client and you go look, you go, check out or start the case, and you find out that it reaffirms that the guy actually is injured, or no, he's not cheating on his wife. Do you get paid the same, or do you just double up on the time?
No, we report exactly what we see.
Okay.
We're unbiased. We don't, like, when I go into a case, I tell the people exactly what I find, and what they do with the information, that's their call. I got nothing to do with that. Someone says that they think, I've had plenty of cases where I've found that the person was injured or that the person wasn't cheating, and I report exactly what I found back to them. And I say, based on my investigation, I can't tell you 100%, this person is not cheating, but I could just say, through my efforts in this investigation, I didn't find any evidence of that. And sometimes they are unhappy, like they say. But at the end of the day, we're just information gatherers. We give it to them, and then whatever they want to do with it, they can do with it. We're not looking to get anyone in trouble or anything. Like, it's the person who hires us. Whatever they want to do with the information, they can do with it. We just gather the information, and they can take it from there. I could care less, about a person. Whatever they want to do, they can do.
Oh, I got another question real quick.
Yeah.
Have you ever been, what'd you call it, being made, if they find out that you're from?
Yeah, I've been burned before.
Okay, hold on. So have you ever been burned and they try to flip the script on you, kind of like make you there and say, hey, I'll double whatever you're getting and just report whatever I need you?
No, I've never had that happen.
That's a great question. A good question. That's awesome.
Most of the time, I don't let it get to that point. Like, really, I don't even want it to get to the point where I even have a conversation with the person. I don't ever want to have, any interaction with them whatsoever. So if I feel like that they're getting suspicious, I'm going to stop following them before they would even get a chance to, to come to the conclusion that, yes, this person is following me for sure. If I start seeing any behavior that makes me think that they're onto me, I break off, because I can always pick the case back up the next day or the next week or whatever and start over with a new vehicle. Once you burn a case, it's burned. Once you confirm that they, to them that they know that they're being followed, then that case will be burned forever. Like, you really can never work it again. No one will really be able to work it again, because the person's going to be so on guard. So but I've gotten to the point where people have, flipped me off or like waved at me to let me know that they know that I've, but it's part of the job. I mean, any PI that tells you they've never been made is either not done a lot of surveillance or they're lying, because you follow enough people, some people are gonna, some people are just gonna know if they're paying close enough attention. But you try to keep it to the point where it rarely happens. Like I'd say it happens like maybe a couple times a year, maybe for me, where I get, I feel like the person definitely knows.
Hey, Mike, what happens when you're investigating some of these people and you discover kind of secondary concerning information, like although it may have been a disability claim that you're kind of chasing up on, but you find out the guy's like fighting pit bulls or he's selling dope on the side. Do you ever come across any weird shit that because you're following
all
them?
the time, all the time I get stuff like that, like, and I'll report it back to them. I found so many times that, like, when it's a disability case, that the person is involved some way with, or it's a workers' comp case or whatever, that the person's got some drug habit, or they're selling drugs, or they're doing some kind of illegal activities on the side, and I'll document it. But I mean, I just give it back to the client, and they can do it with it what they want. Like, I don't take it any further than that. But if it's a cheating spouse case, and I see that the person's not cheating, but they're buying drugs on the side, and that's why their wife's suspicious, because they have been, being secretive and going out at weird times. A lot of times it's because they're drug addicts, and they're going to meet dealers and stuff like that. And I just bring them back the evidence like that I find, and I don't really tell them conclusively, because at the end of the day I don't know. Like, I can just say, well, it appears that this person was meeting this person for some sort of transaction, and they can draw their own conclusions. We try to keep it pretty non-biased. We just, like, if we ever go into court, we don't want it to look like we were out to get the person. We want it to look like we were just observing them, and we had no preconceived ideas or anything like that. So, because if a defense attorney, if you're getting cross-examined in court, and a defense attorney destroys your credibility because it makes it look like you're, like you had an agenda going into it, or you have, let's say you have a history, like you have a bad history of, doing whatever, it can really hurt your credibility as a PI, and other people won't want to use you if you get your credibility impeached on the stand in a court case. So, like, we handle, when we have to testify at a deposition or at a court or a trial or a hearing, whatever, we have to be very careful what we say and how we interact with the opposing attorney. If they're questioning us, we have to answer questions a certain way. We have to, pretty much keep answers very brief. We don't go on and on. We don't answer open-ended questions. We just keep it to yes or no. And, we have things that we say, we just don't let them. They try to manipulate you into talking. They want you to talk as much as possible. But what you do is you just basically give them yes or no, like yes, no, I don't know. You say that a lot. You say, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say, because they want you to say, well, it seemed like this, and they want you to go off on a tangent. But you learn, like, early on in the business, that you got to be very careful what you say to a lawyer in court or a deposition.
Hey, MFB, John Galt in the chat has a question. How much was enough footage for the guy trading as a CDO? And I think Blacks has kind of a similar question.
What was? Hold on, I can't.
Yeah, John Galt says, how much was enough footage for the guy trading as a CDO? Like, how much footage did you have to present for them to say?
On that one, I think I got like 2 hours of footage of the guy. He was, he went to that truck driving school. He was there for like 4 hours. I got a bunch of that video that I showed you, and then I got a lot more video on from my car. You know, like I've just filmed him from my car, and he was there doing drills, like learn how to turn and learn how to back the truck up and all stuff like that. Like, you know, you try to get as much video as possible. Like you want to give your client as much, like whatever the person's doing, whether they're just sitting down or whatever it is, you just want to show that you were there and you were documenting the person as much as possible. Even if they're not doing anything, you always keep the camera rolling, and you just want to show everything that they're doing, because you never know when it might be important.
And Black says, how long do you expect it to be on a case?
Usually at the beginning of a case, when someone hires you, there'll be a budget, you know, that you tell them, you know, depending on, you know, what the type of investigation it is. You know, you'll give them a budget and they'll say, okay, we want to do this many hours of surveillance. It may start with 24 hours, which is, you know, usually 3 8-hour days. So it may start off like that, but usually if you are finding information, you'll get more days added onto the budget. And that's the point. You want to get your budget increased so you make more money. And you might start off with a budget of, you know, let's say it's, you know, $2,500 for 3 days. You want to get another week added on there. So that's why it's important within those first 3 days to get as much, you know, video as possible. And if you can, you know, show them there's reason to keep going, like, you know, to pay me to go back out, because every day that I go back out, I'm making a lot more money. So sometimes the cases will go and they'll be, you know, month-long cases, or like, you know, go out. Sometimes they'll have cases will go on for a year. They'll call you every couple months to go out and get footage of somebody. And those are great. You know, those, you know, keep you paid.
So it's safe to say it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you kind of want to milk it in a way. Like you don't want to like be too good, but you don't want to be too bad where they don't hire you back. So like, as far as like, you know, selfishly for your business, you want to, you know, obviously get as much money as possible. So you kind of give them, you know, bait them in, or like kind of like if you're fishing, you bait the hook kind of thing.
You wanna show them that there's good reason for them to have you go back out and do it again. Like, let's say I have a case and I work it for 3 days or whatever, and they don't request any more surveillance. I'll monitor that person's Facebook page. And if I see anything come up that shows that they have an event coming up or whatever, I'll email or I'll text the client and say, hey, you know, the case I just worked, you know, your claimant or your subject has a soccer game coming up in 3 weeks. Do you want me to work that? So like, and you look for reasons why, you know, why it would be beneficial for them to hire you to go out and do more surveillance. So like, you know, on all my cases, you know, I keep open. I'll have usually, you know, my wife, she helps me with a lot of the administrative stuff. I'll have her monitor people's Facebook pages, and she'll let me know if she sees anything that's worthwhile that will give me, you know, reason to contact my client and say, hey, you know, let's go back out, see if we can get a little more footage. And a lot of times it works, you know, and you'll get a whole new budget. You get 3 more days or however many more days.
Nice. Get Crack or Noel? Anyone who else has questions?
I wanted to show John. He asked me about some of the other cameras that we.
Oh yeah. Wasn't there some gay guy something?
I'll show that too. But he asked about other cameras. Can you see my screen right now?
Not yet.
You can't. All right, let me see. What about now? Can you see it?
We just see the keychain. The keychain camera. Yeah, but yeah, we see it.
Okay, I see. All right. So so this is just all different types of cameras I'm going to show you right now. So these are all actually not this one, covert cameras. They have all different types of cameras, like for different situations. A lot of them are, I mean, some are good for, you know, it depends on the situation you're in, really. But you have the the keychain. This is a Bluetooth speaker that has a key fob in it. This is the 4K key fob. This is a power bank for your, you know, the type you'd use to charge your cell phone or whatever. These are good because they have really long battery life. So you can film some for like 20.
You see, this is someone might take home with them. that's something someone might take home with
Right. Sure. Like this one right here is a button that you wear in your shirt, and you have it connected to something inside your in your pocket or something like that.
I'm sorry to. I just had a real good question.
Yeah.
Have you ever like befriended anybody? Like, hotel bar, you sit
Yeah.
down, start chatting them up.
Yep. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to
Oh
do that.
snap!
I had a case one time where I had this
Oh snap!
guy worked for the Inglewood PD, and he was off. He was on desk duty because he had he shot someone. It was officer involved shooting. He was claiming an injury, and the guy was he was on the side. He had a real estate business, and I went and I pretended like I was touring one of his houses. He had an open house at one of his houses, so I went in there and I pretended like I was interested in buying the house, and I talked to the guy for like good 45 minutes to an hour, just shooting the shit, just so I could get access to the house and get video and all that stuff. And I've talked to people at bars, you know, um, I can't record someone, it depends on which state you're in, but most of the time you need two party consent. You need to have both people's permission to record someone. Some states are different though. Like there's certain states where you just need to have one party's consent. Then you can record a phone call, you can record a conversation. But you got to be careful. Again, like the laws are like pretty strict on some of that stuff. But this is another example here. This wristwatch right here. This is another camera. Same deal. It's a high def camera with Wi-Fi. Let's see which one. This is like a stationary one. This is like a cell phone charger. This is one you'd put in, like, let's say you were monitoring to see if someone was stealing from your office or something like that. You'd put this in here, and you would film like while you weren't there, and you could watch it. Same thing with this one. This is like a USB charging thing. This one would be for your car, and this one has night vision too. Like if you're driving, let's say you're an Uber driver, you could use this right here. You put it in your, on your windshield, and this thing right here is actually a camera, not the phone, but this device itself is a high def camera with night vision.
Oh man, I'm sorry to interrupt. These questions just keep coming. I could probably talk to you for like days and days. Have you ever had to take a flight following somebody?
I personally haven't, but I've worked a case where I picked the case I was telling you about, where the guy who was running to be president of Mexico, he flew into LAX, and I had to pick him up at the airport, and there was an investigator on the plane with him who had followed him from wherever he came from. The company that hired me was another PI company that was subcontracting the case out, and I met the investigator that they had on the plane at the airport, and he got in my car, and we followed this presidential candidate to his hotel. So it definitely happens. I personally have never gotten on a plane with anyone, but it does. People do it. I mean, I'm sure it will happen some point in my career.
God damn, thanks. Keep going, my bad.
There's let me see what else they have. I mean, they got pretty much camera. This is a great camera right here. I have this one too. This is a coffee cup. This lid, the lid on this coffee cup right here, it's a camera. And the great thing about this one is it's got a little height to it. So let's say you put it down to film someone, it's not like, the keychain, if you put it down on something flat, like half the video is going to be filming like part of whatever you put it down on. This gives a little bit of height. So at the gym, like something like this would be perfect because it will get the whole room. It wouldn't be angled down at all. Some people like these glasses. I don't like them because you have to look at the person in order to do it. So, I mean, I feel like that just draws attention. See, this is another one you could use in your car. It plugs into your cigarette lighter. This is a TV remote control. I don't know what you'd really use that, in what situation you'd be able to use that, but maybe if you were at home or something like that.
Quick question. Do the same recording laws apply to like a place of work? Like let's say they work, I don't know, whatever, like somewhere that's, a restaurant, or they work in a gym, or law office. I don't know. Do the same rules apply there?
Apply as far as what you mean, like when you can record them in?
Like, let's say you put that TV remote in like a law office or something. Would that be okay or not?
I mean, it depends on,
or like a doctor's office or something.
It depends on, doctor's office. You have to be very careful because
like the lobby. Yeah, right.
Let's say the person. Let's say that it depends on who you are in the investigation. If the owner of the company hires you, then anywhere you put the camera is because it's their property. They can authorize you to record inside their property. Say it's one of their employees. The employee doesn't have any right to privacy unless they're in the bathroom or something. Like if they're going into their work, their boss has every right to put cameras, to document, if anyone's stealing stuff or whatever. But again, it depends on who you are. I couldn't just go into a random law firm and put a camera in there because I have no legal reason to. I'm not anyone you can't just go into someone else's business and put a camera in unless you get. It depends on the situation.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Especially when you're dealing with.
Do you know this Black Knight person in the chat?
Yeah. I've talked to him before. Yeah.
Oh, both of y'all private investigators, man.
Yeah. What else was I going to show you? You can see these are just to answer John's question. These are some of the handheld cameras that some of these are handheld, but some of the bigger ones like the let me see.
Can I ask you a tangent, a random question?
Yeah.
Do any of the governments hire you, or do they have their own government employed investigators?
They have their. The federal government. They have their own. In the state, they have police,
or state, or city.
Like the DA's office, for example. Like on a criminal case, they have their own. They have the police force, which is their investigators. Now, the defense, on the other hand, they don't have that. So that's when and sometimes on a criminal case, when if the person's innocent or whatever, they think the person's innocent, the lawyer will hire you to do your own investigation on the side to see what the police aren't telling you. Maybe they've developed evidence that is what they call exculpatory, which will show, it would help to prove that, that your client is innocent and they don't turn it over. That's a violation on their point. The prosecution is supposed to turn all that over in discovery. Again, the police aren't going to help you in your investigation. They're going to try to gather evidence to put the person in jail. They're not going to be trying to, they're not going to tell you, even if they do find evidence that's going to help you, you got to find it on your own. So there are people like I've done a few, I don't do it a lot, but I've worked on a few criminal defense cases of people who were accused of different things that they didn't do, date rape, stolen, I think it was a stolen car I did one time. But that's not really, that stuff, the people that are really the best at that are former law enforcement because they have a lot of experience doing, interviewing suspects and stuff like that. With me, I've done it a little bit, but I don't have nearly the experience that they do. Like the former cops are usually the best criminal defense investigators, but they make very good money. You can charge a lot of money on a criminal defense case. Like you can charge, up $250 an hour on those.
Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Do you notice that aside from the hockey guy that was surfing, aside from that, are most of the workman comps and disability cases, because you obviously follow up on these people, that they're actually living very unimpressive lives, and it's almost not worth what they're trying to scam, and they're actually living poor lives. Is that a pretty accurate comment that it's almost they're harming themselves?
Most of the time these people are a lot of times they're just lazy. They don't want to work, so they want to collect a paycheck for anyways. So they're getting credit basically for working when they're not. So a lot of these people are just lazy. You see them, they're just bums. Like a lot of these people I investigate are just bums. Like they don't do shit. They're just bum around the house, and you follow them. They don't really do much, and that's because that's what they like to do. They don't like to work, so they found a way to get paid for not working, or it'll be a situation where the person, like especially with I found this in Mexicans a lot, they'll have a second job on the side, so they're sending money back to their family and wherever in Mexico. They're getting paid through their workers' comp claim, and they're getting paid from their second job on the side. So I mean, I haven't really found anyone like living in like that's involved in these scams. They're not living in squalor like usually. I mean, I've had cases here and there where you'll see that, but most of the time, like they're pretty much average. Like the income is average. Like a lot of these Mexican parts of California, it's very like working class. That would be like the average person that would do this. I mean, usually people that have money don't do this. You don't get a lot of people that are rich that would need to do this. But you get it every once in a while. But yeah, I gotta head out of here in a minute. But if it's time, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna have some more videos next time.
MFB, could you show us that gay guy video?
Oh yeah.
Pause.
We
Pause.
do that. That I mean, it's not like that one isn't all that interesting. It just shows two gay dudes like hanging out together, basically. But I'll show you. This was just from a couple of days ago. I got this.
And there's something that you hit on, and I think Master Kim, or I was maybe just assuming you said your wife. I wonder, just that business aspect. Maybe she's an employee, the write-offs, yada yada yada. That
Yeah, I mean, she does all of my books. She does, she handles all the invoicing. Like a lot of the emails that come in, like the new requests for business, like a lot of my clients will send me an email and she'll respond to it. But yeah, no, she's technically she's an employee.
Have you ever used her in the field?
Yeah, I've never had her do any actual like filming or anything like that, but I've ever had her come along as a second person, so it doesn't look weird. Like if I want to be at a restaurant or at a bar and I don't want to look like I'm alone, I'll have her come and just be there, just like, and sometimes she'll help me. Like I'm like, listen, I need you to sit here, I need you to like move that way so I can get a better shot, and like, or I need you to call the waitress over and ask her this or that, like just little things like that. Like she'll help me out, like if I need her, like if I'm in the field, depending on where I am. A lot of times, if I'm traveling, let's say I have to travel out of state for a case, I'll get, the client will pay for my hotel for like, a week. A number of times I've gone to Vegas and brought my wife with me because like after the case is over, I have a couple of days where, the client is paying for the hotel still. So we get a little vacation out of it.
Awesome.
I mean, that was mainly before we had our kids, but at one time even she brought my a couple months ago we were up in Memorial Day, we were up in Vermont on this lake. We got an Airbnb on this lake, a beautiful place. I just worked the case during the day from like 7 to 3, and then we'd come home and we'd like hang out for the rest of the night and get to enjoy the
nice.
Oh
man, like you got kids now, you like you have cover, you have more, like now you can go to like a little league baseball game and now you have cover,
right?
Just
That's always weird.
It's crazy.
I hate having to go to places where there's kids where I have to film because it always looks weird. Like you don't ever want to be in a school, like in a school,
right?
Like because people automatically think you're a fucking weirdo. So I'm very careful with anything like that. Like you don't. So if you follow someone and they drop their kids off at school, you park and you wait by the exit. You don't even go in there. Like whatever they're doing in there, even if they're getting out of their car, it's not worth it because a crossing guard might see you, or you never want to be accused of like you're peeping on people or anything like that.
Mike, do you ever have any investigations that's like more front facing? For example, a client hires you to fly into Dallas to go to their headquarters or office in Dallas, go through some of their balance sheets or go through the warehouse to find out why they're hemorrhaging losses, anything like that where you're just you know, because for some reason I think that you guys would be a very like an element of like security to a degree as well. And maybe I'm just reading too much into it. Do you guys do any like stuff like that, like out of the ordinary for
There's
clients?
a lot of investigators that do private security, like they call it executive protection. Like a lot of ex-cops, you know, they'll do you know, they'll work events and basically, you know, they'll be, you know, someone's, you know, bodyguards, stuff like that. I don't really take those type of jobs because I don't like to be armed in the field, you know, because it's too much liability, you know, to be carrying a gun around. You know, you don't, you know, the insurance premiums are really high. So I don't really get involved with too much of that stuff. But the work is there if you want it. That's some of the easiest work to find. People are always looking for, you know, some type of private security. All right, I'm going to share my screen.
Have you ever done any somewhat kind of like a secret shopper? Kind of like to
when I first started my career, that was one of the first jobs I had. It was one of the worst jobs I've ever had. Doing that secret shopper shit was the worst, man.
For who?
I did it. I worked for a company, a security company that did this stuff.
Okay.
Like, and it was just, man, it was terrible. It was boring as shit. I'd never want to do that job again, and the money was shit too. All right, can you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, these are the two gay dudes. See, this was just a couple days ago. So here's gay dude number one coming out the house.
Imagine he's sitting in a court. I just imagine you sitting in a courtroom, gay dude.
Wait till you see the second dude. The second dude is like, I mean, both these dudes are flaming once you actually see their behavior. But yeah, no, these two dudes are. I mean, and this woman was a Jehovah's Witness too. Her husband. This is her husband right here who's leaving the place. In a second, you'll see him with his friend, quote unquote friend, or whatever you want to call him. Yeah, here they are. His friend is driving the car now, or his other gay dude. Look what the dude's wearing too when he gets out of the car. See how short his pants are? Those orange socks.
Mm. Did they change in the car?
No, this is later in the day. Oh. This is 12 hours later than when I took.
Oh, so let me ask you a follow-up question. What if you record like adult activities, like damn near where you're like shooting a porn? Is that like illegal? Or?
Yeah. If it's done in a public place, yeah. I mean, I've never had that happen before. Nothing more than people like making out, like nothing more than that. But I mean, I could technically, as long as I'm not like invading their privacy or whatever. This gay ass dude right here.
Mike, you seem to be a very high intellect, balanced guy. Is it nature or nurture?
Is what nature or nurture?
The two guys.
I don't know, man.
I'm kidding. I'm just putting you on the spot. You don't got to answer that. I'm just being silly.
See, in here, one of the most important pieces is I got this guy right here. This is the not the husband, but the other guy opened the door with his key. That's key evidence because that shows that they're living together. You know, because this is her husband's house, but the other guy has a key to the house, which shows that she basically wanted to prove that they were living together, and that was very important. You know, getting the shot of him opening the door with the key, showing that he has his own key to the place.
Now, when this lady hired you privately?
I was she hired an associate of mine who then had me take over the case. So it wasn't my client; it was his client. But then she kind of became my client because she subcontracted to me.
So do you know what did she suspect he was gay, or did she just suspect he was having an affair or something?
I didn't have much interaction with her personally, so I don't really even know. Let me fast forward this a bit. I mean, again, this one was like there wasn't all that much to it. You see, like these two dudes like eating. This is 4th of July, the morning of 4th of July, and they having some like, gay ass barbecue or something like that.
It's gonna be gay.
Doesn't look gay as hell. Look at those two dudes, man.
Hey, let me ask a question. This is another tangent question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How long do you think it would take you to pick up if you were being followed?
I mean, if I had a reason to, to be honest, I have no reason to believe that anyone would be following me because, like, I would recognize it pretty fast just because I know all the tricks. Like, I know all the things that people do. Like, if I saw the same vehicle, really, what the way you tell is if you think someone's following you, you immediately make a turn, and then you make another turn that doesn't make any sense. Like, basically, you want to drive in a circle, and if you still see that car behind you, then you're being followed. Like, just things that don't make sense. Like, there's no reason why someone should make a U-turn with you. If you make a U-turn in the street, there's no reason why someone else should make a U-turn right there.
Interesting. And so are you like? Do you think you pay attention to your surroundings more since then?
I think you dropped.
Oh, okay. Master Kim, you gonna handle the show?
Hey, that was a good question you asked him because if I discovered the investigator, and I would be like, "Hey, dude, can I give you 3 Gs to pretend this never happened?" Because
Right.
that was a great question because if someone's already hustling game, they don't want to be caught. They don't want potential criminal complaint and any of that stuff. That makes 100%. I would do it immediately. Whatever I can scrape up on the spot to make it go away.
Right. Who's this? Yeah, no, that was a great show. Like, we definitely need a part 2,
insight.
part 3, part 4.
And where's John meeting these guys? I think this dude's actually legit and professional. It's almost kind of scary how professional the guy was. It's almost like John needs to bring in the flunky investigator to give up those, as CT would say, crazy stories. Crazy stories.
Black Knight. Why don't you jump up here, Black Knight? We wanna pick your brain. Well, I don't know if MFB is gonna come back.
Get cracked.
Is the link in the chat?
Yes. I think everyone's sleeping already.
Who you talking about?
I was seeing if Get Crack was still on.
I think MFB might be back. Yeah.
I think he's dialing in.
I clicked off by accident. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, my bad. I don't know if you guys. I gotta get to bed, but you guys want to keep the stream going? I don't know if John wants John what he want to do. I know you guys have been going for doing streaming all day, so I don't know what you guys want to do.
Yeah, yeah. If
John,
you need to
John,
jump off,
let me text John and see where he's at.
okay.
Just keep it running or whatever. But yeah, I'll do another one of these where I have more video, because like on my other computer I have way more footage. I could show you guys some like way more. I only had a couple things here tonight, but I could show you some really some funny, just different situations I've got caught on film, the weird shit people have done. Like cutting people doing all kinds of stuff. Like when people don't think anyone's watching, people just are weird, man. Like they're weird habits, all kinds of stuff.
Hey, Rook, while you're actually MFB, do you have did John give you the admin? Are you actually able to end the stream?
I can. I'm just asking him what
you
what
can. Okay, I got you. Yeah. No, I think did Master Kim or Gay Crack want to continue?
No, I gotta get napped before HB gets around, and that's.
Like, HB is gonna be.
Oh yeah, that's right. So.
Yeah, hey, MFB, real quick, if you're texting John, I'm waiting for that. Is there, and maybe this is probably the boring part, can you just and maybe give like a little tiny recap on how to get into this line of work, and then maybe you could really save the details for different day.
You could, I mean, you basically need to, in order to get into the industry, you need to, the first thing you want to do is you want to get your license. In order to get licensed, you need to have usually 3 years of experience. So in order to get that experience, what you can do is you work for a big company. You look for like one of these nationwide surveillance companies that allows you to work under their license. So like these companies are always hiring entry-level investigators who have no experience. You go work somewhere, you learn how to, they'll train you, and you go out in the field, and you won't make good money. They'll pay you like, $25, or not even, probably $25 an hour to do the job and you got to kind of suck it up and do that for 3 years, and then you get your own license. Once you get licensed, then you can go out and start making real money. But you got to get that experience. I got that shit out of the way a long time ago. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you need to have, and there's certain requirements. You can't have you can't be convicted of a felony. You can't have, you can't have any like bad shit. If you have a history of like robbing people or breaking and entering or anything that's like shows that you have bad character, then you won't be able to get a license. But as long as you don't have any of that stuff, you'll get it. Like and even in some cases, if you do have a felony, you probably could still get it as long as it was long enough ago. But.
Gotcha.
And if, for example, like what Black Knight just said, if you are a former police officer, or you work and you did something that shows that you had experience, you can use that as your experience. Like a former cop doesn't need to get any more experience; they can just jump right and get their PI license. But John's not responding, so I'm going to end the stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Next time I'll have some more, better videos and stuff to show you guys and shit. But appreciate everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Take care.
Yeah, salute, man.
Thank you.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.